All right, well, let's see what the map picks and bans are going to be for this series. Mind you, it is a best of 3, so we're not doing a best of 5 here, because if we did, we'd be here until midnight, and I just don't know if my body could take it. So Fracture and Bind are going to go first here, Mimi. Let's see what the picks are going to be. Icebox up first.
Yeah, no surprise on those bans. It's the permas for each respective team. NRG picking into the Icebox, I just alluded to this a little bit. It's one of the maps I've really enjoyed out of them. They're putting the double controller with Psalm on the Omen. They're still one of the teams implementing the Sage there. Haven is number 2 for NRG. They kind of did some weird stuff here in the groups with that Yoru, but I've really liked the way they were playing Fade Raze as of late on that map.
All right, and the decider will be Ascent. Valen, your thoughts on this? Who are you favoring in this one?
Oh man, this is going to be a banger series, but I got to go with NRG on this. I think the map pool as well kind of caters to NRG. I think they have a great Ascent, a great Icebox, and their Haven is pretty good as well. This is going to be a tough one. I think it's going to go all 3 maps, but I think NRG will pull through 2-1.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm in a similar agreement there. I think that maybe FaZe Clan can be able to win on out. I like map number 1 for them. Haven as well, I think, is one where they can contest in a pretty good way. The way that they're playing the Neon there is really nice, and correcting myself, it's not the Fade Raze, it's the Breach Raze, but similar effect for NRG on that one.
All right, well, you see the maps, you see how it all breaks down. Of course, we want to hear from you guys. Make sure you use that hashtag VCTNA. Get social about it on social media. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Agent Select, and then we jump into the action. Don't go anywhere.
I got some tweets to say.
All right, everyone, welcome back as we get ready for our last match of the day, NRG versus FaZe. We're going right into the Agent Select as soon as it is ready to go. But, you know, Icebox going to be our first map here. We've seen some pretty good Icebox play today here from, you know, our previous match with Optic and Exet here, Valen. I'm just looking forward to seeing what these two teams are going to bring to the table at the start of this.
I mean, I think Icebox is a map that allows teams to kind of just like sneak around in 5-man and hit stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can slow it down like Optic plays, but I think this caters. I think this is a good pick for FaZe. You know, if they want to kind of play that fast-paced style, I think this is a great map for them. Also, I think NRG is very comfortable on this map. Psalm is on Omen, one of his best agents. Ethan on a supporting character like Sage, EU on the Sova. I mean, the agents just make sense for all of them. This is going to be an absolute banger.
So this is one of the interesting ones for FaZe Clan because they do move away from it. I think it's the only map they're actually playing Baby Bay on the Chamber versus having Dicey on that agent. They're prioritizing putting Baby Bay on the op. Obviously, that used to be his primary role. He goes back to it here, but Dicey can also pick up that weapon. He can also rifle. The Sage gives him a lot of freedom. So it's almost like a complete swap over from their normal roles, but both players have played both kind of the divier side and the more op-y side. So both are comfortable. I think it does make sense for this map, especially with defensive sided start.
All right, who are you going for then, Mimi?
I think NRG wins this map. Big fan of the Soman.
Okay, the Soman. What about for you, Valen?
I got to give it to NRG as well.
I
think NRG take this.
Okay, NRG.
Tight match.
Tight match, but we'll see. The desk has spoken, so let's go ahead, bring up the casters right here in this giant screen wall. It's going to be Dustin Schiff to call the action. Who better? Fellas, take it away.
They're actually in the wall.
GB, you're just so handsome. It's hard to look away. I have to keep focus with the camera, but it's hard to look away. Okay, I saw that. Interesting stat here, though, Dust. You want to talk about map set and things of the nature?
Sure.
FaZe in playoffs have only won if the map is Fracture or Breeze. So we have none of that here. What are your thoughts on kind of the desk's take and maybe your own when it comes to Icebox for at least FaZe Clan?
Yeah, Icebox is an interesting one because, I mean, Icebox is a map that NRG has been kind of shaky on, you know, throughout the last few months. 2-3 in their last 5 games, but obviously did see them win in overtime against Ghost in the lower bracket earlier on, while they've had kind of this, like, big resurgence throughout playoffs and form. And when you look over at FaZe, I mean, also a shaky map. 1-3 in their last 4 games. A lot of close games, don't get me wrong. Rarely getting less than 11 rounds in those matches, but, yeah, it's kind of hard to call, honestly.
That's fair. I also love the call for Mimi talking about Psalm on this Omen. He was great on this map versus Ghost Gaming early in their playoff run, on the Omen in particular, as the hit starts to come unfolding for NRG. Typical barrier orb can be placed. It will reinforce itself. That will lead to a plant off the flank. NRG have a couple of members watching this, and oh boy, it's more than just a couple now. There's 3 players in total, and over the barrels, the gunfight gets exchanged, and FaZe say, oh, we really can't chow this.
Yeah, they're not really making any headway at all. NRG's facing with so many numbers here on this flank, and they're starting to turn things in their favor with those frags. Flya and Baby Bay, though, starting to fight back on the site and trying to make this thing interesting, and well, it's really gotten spicy now, but Tex will dot the I's across T's of this pistol, and well, honestly, you know, that was a curiosity of mine, Shift. You know, FaZe, a little bit more impressive on pistol rounds in playoffs compared to groups, but that one does fall prey, and the retakes have kind of fallen off in playoffs as well, and that's kind of one of them right there on pistol, but obviously not that much utility to use in that situation.
Naturally. And I will say, just for what it's worth, talking about FaZe on that retake attempt, hell, the fact that you're in a 2v3 on the offensive side of the map, we're missing the ability to kind of pop off when needed. So the fact that we're starting to get that from them, I think the same storyline rides through, where it's, okay, all of a sudden, you can change the expectations that were initially placed for you after your kind of play through qualifiers. Into round 2, though, after the tech pause. And how about the forward positioning for Dicey's? Works out for one, tries to get away. There is a good help play over from the top as BabyBay gets a second, but there is still an opportunity for NRG to work through green.
Yeah, that's a great 2-for-1 exchange. I mean, Dicey tries to escape and doesn't quite get away with it, but at least BabyBay is able to get a second there at the Headhunter and get themselves a main advantage here. No weapons collected, though. Those will stay with NRG here at Long B as they're continuing to try to make a presence here. They do still have these strong rifles in play. So that is, I guess, the best news is that at least, you know, it's the SMGs that are lost in this situation. They can still fight at range here as they're still trying to use that toxic screen to lay some pressure on the B side. Maybe Bay trying to throw some spam through, eventually force teleport kind of up top. A Fly is here to help them out.
This is a very difficult take, though, for NRG. Missing your barrier orb, missing all of your intel gathering tools from EU. Sam still commits forward as the toxic screen drops. BabyBay able to get one on the exit. Fly coming from mid. Deals with a second, just down to Sam. Last dart cover comes out. And the Bulldog, well, is just a bit off touch. Spams down, trying to get the player on the spike, but the problem is here comes the rest of FaZe Clan. And no problems. And for a team that we always talked about, NRG in particular, saying, hey, you're great on these kind of half-buy rounds, all of a sudden it's FaZe who bounce back after a great pistol.
Yeah, and bounce back with a retake nonetheless as well. Granted, with advantage as far as ban count goes, but certainly lacking in firepower, but still make it happen. And that's great for them to break up this economic pattern early, not allow NRG to get that 2-0 start, not waiting until round 3 to get yours in. This kind of breaks things up and forces NRG to make a choice here about how they want to spend credits. I mean, they got a spike plant, so that gives you a little bit of flexibility, but more often than not, it's going to put you on the back foot, and it's kind of like chasing the dangling carrot that you never quite can get to. As we are going to see just the Marshall out from EU, rest of the team just on pistols here. Looking like we are going to see NRG testing A early.
Dart's not going to find too much. EU going to overwatch this play by way of a Marshall just on the ramps. BabyBay throwing shoulders. Going to get a lot of information. Oh, he finds the first kill. Will snap away as Sam will quickly fall. Good recon coming out from Fly as he's going to follow with a shock dart of his own. That will deal some considerable damage, it looked like, for a second on the Ethan. Yeah, he's down to half HP. Absolutely. And all of a sudden, NRG are going to be stuck on site.
And indeed they are. They're not able to really make progress. This toxic screen is really blocking their way to penetrating the site with that spike. Now Aldrone comes out from Fly, going to get a lot of information there. Near 410. Wow. BabyBay collects another on his way out the door to make matters worse. And yeah, FaZe just have a great grasp of things and are shutting this down entirely. Are going to get a spike plant, though, at least.
Yeah, this works out. Little bait and switch to get the spike down, plus a kill. Super no problem dealing with the first. Ethan's making things very difficult, though, so a couple of trade-off kills. Not bad news for NRG, considering it was just a Marshall purchase, but largely speaking, FaZe will be able to collect these weapons that were dropped and come in with a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, a couple of little heroics there to get that spike down, but FaZe ultimately will clean up with 3 players surviving, keeping those 3 Vandals rolled over. As BabyBay already has Tour de Force, so he could drop the Vandal if he wanted to and get that sniper out early, depending on what he chooses to do here. Full buy, of course, now in play for NRG after the back-to-back spike plants, as BabyBay just a little skeet shooting there. Catching one over the top, and he just kind of puts a shutdown on things for the most parts. Man just kind of doing some cleanup duty here alongside BabyBay with the hat trick. And here we go. Looks like another full A press early here from NRG.
Fly's going to try to get up early, see if he can grab the orb. Yeah, sure will. The slow orb was not quite there. Not that it made too much of a difference because there wasn't a follow-up peak. Everyone's focused on what's coming through mid-map, and BabyBay off of what was initially going to be an opportunity to maybe cut off reinforcements or maybe cut off a rotation. He's actually been pushed back. So now information for FaZe is once again a bit empty as NRG continue to send a couple of members forward to A.
And that's what's good about NRG lately, man. Is like I really feel like they have fine-tuned their team play in these early to mid-round situations where they're not really leaving any gaps in their default. You know, they're always making sure they're not going to get poked and prodded on the edges. They're not going to get flanked. There's no gaps that can get, you know, prod open by an aggressive defense. And now they will just steadily come into this A side. Great utility leading the way. Safely getting the spike into position here for Ethan. But here comes that Hunter's 3 to disrupt.
Does tag, at least initially once. Poise is forward, but does not have a lot of ammunition. It's just 7 shots remaining. And will very quickly realize that he's going to need to get a little bit more than that if he wants to deal with NRG. Ethan sticking for the plant. The shock darts are good, but not quite good enough. But now Poise, activated to move forward, will take down Tex at pretty significant range. The spam onto Ethan also connects. But the problem is, how do you work through this toxic screen to get the finals? And the answer is, we use a barrier orb. You don't worry about him necessarily.
Snake bite.
It's going to push him back. EU still has to move forward, gets 1 on the return, but now it's just down to FaZe. No more utility. 1v3 Supa already sticking, and Baby Bay watches over nicely. Another good retake from FaZe.
You kind of saw in the picture there, thanks production, there was a spot where it could be diffused where you were not in the snake bite. And so that kind of took away a little bit of the stress, I guess you could say, for FaZe on that diffusal there. But of course, the 3v1 man count at the end certainly helped things along, I would imagine. As it gets a little bit chaotic here at the start, but that Hunter's Fury bought time for the rotation from FaZe, and Poise makes a big move here for a double. Really helps things along, and then Baby Bay just goes to work with that tour de force. Now on a full-fledged operator. Rifles are funny. Economy building up nicely for FaZe, having won 3 in a row, including a couple of retakes. And again, that's one of the questions we had. How would their retakes be this series? Because they've been a little bit off in playoffs overall. They've come in fine here so far.
And I think the other thing is just the simple fact that those are the moments where Poised has been so good. You want to talk about the team play coming out. Him by himself on an island, he's been so good at holding his life for as long as possible. And then at least going 1 for 1, if not multiple, for his own life.
He's definitely
quick handoff of the spike.
Sure.
Yeah, he really has been. It's been a really good tool for FaZe. And now with a limited kind of financial situation for NRG, it's just 1 Marshal, 1 Guardian, and pistols.
Yeah, not a whole heck of a lot here that they are making a little bit of pressure on the A side, but again, this particular Viper Toxic screen has been key on making it a little bit tougher for NRG to get that full penetration onto site that they've been looking for to get that spike safely down. It's been a constant throughout this half so far, and Sam trying to, pull off some Soman classic antics, but does get caught there.
Oh, I don't think Superman actually saw Tex up top. How key is that?
Tex,
he can turn that into a tour if he wants it. And with the ability to possibly play for a res, and also 1 away from a Hunter's Fury for EU, all of a sudden this round becomes very doable. Unless the shots from Tex don't quite connect, which at the moment, they are a bit awry.
Flya is dancing on the edge right there. Viper's Pit will get deployed. That's going to make it even tougher for NRG to get in now. Superman catching Tex, so that's Tour de Force off the table, and time is running low.
1 enemy remaining.
Trying to stick. Ethan on the backside, denied by Flya. Goodness, what a messy round. And I think at the end of it, NRG are going to be kind of kicking themselves, because it's good on them to at least get a couple of early eliminations, but then once they earn their ultimates, nothing really comes from it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of go into that round realizing that maybe you aren't going to have a whole lot of chance, but you're going to try to give it your best effort. But then you get halfway through and you're like, hold on a darn picking minute. Texas got a couple of frags. He's got a tour de force. We have some positioning. We can maybe make something happen here, especially because they did kind of have Superman trapped in the corner, but Superman uses his poison orb to good effect, gets a frag, able to drop the Viper's Pit. And then eventually they're able to use that to help kind of just take a victory there and kind of, cool off some of the flames that were coming their way right now. They were cooking for a second there, but able to douse it and keep their lead building now up 4-1. So starting to get a pretty good groove here defensively, which again is good news for FaZe, because I feel like defense has been actually where they've struggled throughout the last couple of months. Like when you look at the 5 games they've played on Icebox since they were able to bring Superman and Poise onto the roster, their defense is where they've struggled, right? They only got 3 defensive rounds in the open qualifier against TSM when they lost it 5-13. When you look at the upper bracket in this playoffs, when they lost to 100 Thieves, they only had 2 defensive rounds in that particular matchup, and really just had to rely on having such a strong attack to keep that game close. So to see them be able to start off hot here defensively is certainly a good sign if you're a FaZe Clan fan.
And I think even just, again, really to hit this point, in case you've missed it, this is where we really look at a player like Poise, especially with how many A-hits we've seen so far, and how he's been able to not just stay alive through the first engagements, but come out ahead of them. That's where you really start to feel like, okay, no longer is this just the Baby Bay show. You've got some good support. You can play a little bit more clinically, even kind of allowing plants to happen in order to get your numbers to efficiently get these retakes. It really has been kind of a kind of like a light switch has been turned, so to speak, when it comes to how this team had played through qualifiers and then at the beginning of the group stage versus where they are now. And I think it's a really good exhibit and indication of why they are currently top 4 with the potential of getting to an international event.
Yeah, and the one thing I do want to kind of make a note of while we have a little bit of extra time here as we're dealing with another little technical pause, which hopefully will get resolved here pretty quickly, is I've seen twice now with their planning location and where Haze's snake bites are landing, there's a little bit of a gap for a defuse there. It hasn't really come into play too much just yet because it's been more down to the fragging on how these rounds have been decided.
Sure.
You know, where FaZe is just kind of slaughtering them, and so the defuse doesn't really get too tense. But, you know, in a deeper round, if it's tight, 3-on-3, something like that, and one of those miss, that could be something that they're really going to have to kind of look back at. It's like kind of lined up more for the default plant, where we have seen a couple of plants here from Ethan that have been kind of a little bit to the left of default. And so that lineup actually hasn't been connecting. So I am curious to see if that's just like a miscommunication that just happened like once or twice, or if there's a little bit of a pitfall there and how they're coming together in some of these like sporadic moments. Let's be honest, these takes have been stressful, right? They've been kind of drawn out. They've had to use a lot to get territory and get the spike down. It's come down at times like the last 10 seconds of the round, and where, you know, you're just kind of stressed out and you're just trying to get it down, you know? So I just want to kind of keep an eye on that. It's a small detail, but it could come into play later.
And I think the curiosity about some of this stress is off the simple fact that the majority, if not almost all of the hits, have been towards A. It almost feels like, for NRG's sake, they're like, we don't even want to bother with where we know for a fact Baby Bay is going to be. A lot of respect given not just his headhunter, but also his ability just to gun at long range. So let's try to over-abuse where Poise is usually positioned. And again, just going back to it, that's where we really start to see the success story of this FaZe team as a collective, where usually it's like, oh, we avoid or shut down Baby Bay. FaZe is easy to get through. That's no longer the case. So I think with some of that stress, we're starting to see it as a byproduct of FaZe's resilient opening defense, let alone their retakes in particular. Also, just one other thing that's kind of we're looking forward to, and this is kind of a statistic that we could at least bring up, as we start to look for other advantages, obviously right now we're framing a lot up from FaZe's pros. NRG has been really good when we're dealing with full buy versus full buy. That's going to have to be the case against a FaZe Clan team that also was super successful throughout the groups when they had full purchase. In fact, they were one of the best teams when they held an eco advantage or when they had a full-on purchase, largely because of their ability to pull out operators or get aggressive on the backhand of rifles. So that's another kind of curiosity, is does that stress become even more so when we get into full purchases at 20K plus?
I think the other big thing I kind of want to point out is, you know, we talked about how NRG's improved drastically throughout playoffs, and you know, it's in the results, right? You know, being able to beat Ghost, being able to beat Evil Geniuses. We've seen the uptick in individual form from Sam and Tex in particular. But one of the things that has come along with that is their increase in first kill percentage. They went from getting the first kill less than half of the time in the groups to now near 60%. They're able to find the first kills of rounds, and they've really been able to use that to great effect throughout playoffs. The problem is you're going up against FaZe Clan, who has been the best first kill percentage team for the entirety of the groups and through the entirety of playoffs so far. So that is where I'm going to be interested to see, you know, how that shakes down, because we know how important those moments can be. It gets you a 5-on-4. It gets you map real estate. It kind of buys you extra time to make movements across the map. So we know how vital that can really be. You might shut down some key utility that a team wants to use or something like that as well. So a lot kind of comes into that. And while we have seen NRG make strides in a great direction on those first kills, and it's helped them get some big results, you're up against the kings of First Bloods over there on Dicey and Baby Bay. So that's gonna be something to watch out throughout the series as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of where, you know, it's interesting, like thinking back to like the desk's predictions, you know, everyone went NRG, not on just the map, but almost on the series as well. It's razor thin margins between how these two teams are playing at the moment.
It's one of those things where they're kind of meeting like at a similar time in their trajectory. Like you're seeing NRG make a really big uptick. Like NRG is finally starting to live up to the height that they were building in the open qualifiers when they first picked up Ethan. They were kind of tearing through the open qualifier bracket. A little bit of a dip in form against some heavy hitters and groups, but now they're swinging right back into a positive direction. The FaZe has been lights out so far after these players.
Oh, and look at this. FaZe has actually changed up their setup. Poise is actually going to be holding over towards B alongside Baby Bay with this operator. So the early information from NRG should be favorable towards that, but Dicey's done this so many times in the past. Just walks right up A, gets the first blood, and now NRG are forced to have to come to Poise's direction.
Yeah, they have no map controller information towards mid or A, so they're trying to really keep forcing this issue at B. A great pop flash, though, continues to stall them out at long, but FaZe is not overcommitting. They're not overplaying this hand. They drone it. They're keeping the pressure, but they are giving them an out. They're satisfied with their 5-on-4 advantage early, and they're satisfied killing this much clock and throwing this doubt into NRG, who still have no idea what's going on really across the map. They have dropped EU back into their spawn to kind of make sure they aren't getting flanked, but the clock is starting to tick to that kind of critical mid-round moment. They still don't really have much map control, and bam! Baby Bay takes another edge there.
for a second, there may have been an opportunity where FaZe was going to start to second guess what the setup was until that 0 point just connected on the 3 offenders here
It's
at
the
B site. And there it is, poised once again. A key part of the defense. EU has to give up the flank in order to try to assist on this play forward. It's not going to work out. And EU is now stuck over through yellow, trying to literally fight for his life. Slow orb on the back. Gets the shoulder, maybe plus one more. Hold on a second. Let's not get out of hand here.
Everyone's kind of backpedaled, you've realized, ever since those two. Because everyone's like, you know what, man? Maybe we'll let you come in here and grab the spike. Maybe we'll kill a little bit of clock here. Superman will, finish that one off. It's 5-1 now for FaZe, and that was really well done. They were kind of constantly prodding NRG at long B, but never overextending and making it really tough on NRG. Obviously, big play from Dicey pushing through A on Sage, no doubt. Of all agents to just solo push A with. Kind of wild to see him pull it off with that agent who has really no escape tactic if things start going south. And FaZe just have full control over this half of the economy of NRG yet again and tatters.
The other thing
Lots
about
of ults, though. We'll say that.
Yeah, sure. The 2 full buy rounds we've seen from NRG, they have not been able to execute in any form because they've lost key components. Once again, I was about to say that, in that last run you lose first blood, but you would have had the ability for EU to watch flank plus have Hunter's Fury. Once again, EU's off the table early. So now you don't even have just the Hunter's Fury that's not there. You have no information-seeking tools either. And really, it's just going to be down to hoping and praying that you can get some headshots out of Text or Haze.
Sam wasn't spotted here on this barrier, or might be able to pull off something tricky, but Baby Bay is just continuing to collect bodies all across the map right now. Ethan does find Flya, but Dicey has not been found out yet. Big move from Haze to avoid getting killed, and now they have the read, but the paranoia comes through to allow Dicey to fall back in the Sanctuary and gets a frag on his way out the door. So does Baby Bay come in. Oh my goodness.
Op versus Marshall. Now Classic versus Vandal. Not going to work out all that well either way.
No, sir.
And it's just, you start to feel a little heartbroken for NRG in a way. These rounds where they've got no business really kind of stealing away anything, they're doing some pretty good stuff when it comes to being able to battle back early. And there's the look at what the first blood looked like, getting you off the table. It's just, oh man. You haven't been able to really do too much with your full buys if you're NRG, and then in rounds where you almost scrap together thrifties, you miss out by 1 or 2 moments. That's tragedy for NRG.
They just look a little bit flat compared to what I've seen in some of their other playoff matches. Like, they're not really quite hitting their rhythm. And this is their map pick, where you kind of expect it. Granted, they do have a really strong defense, so they're not out of it yet if they can scrape together a little bit of something here on the attack, but they're running out of time, trying to pay their way forward. Hunter's Fury, and EU will pick off Superman, so they finally get a first blood here.
For a second, I thought that was just going to be completely baited out. The play forward for FaZe was nothing but just a head fake, essentially, but Superman still gets caught. So now for the first time, significant numbers for NRG in the early stages of the round. Baby Bay trusted to hold from the low ground. Flya just above. How does he get that kill up top on the Tex? Just spamming a pre-fire. Shock darts can now come down. That is going to deal some damage, and the Owl Drone will be able to scout things out as FaZe once again set up for a retake.
Yeah, this is a lot of ults being spent by NRG, and they still might not come up with it. Viper spits down. Hunter's Fury's already gone. Spike's still yet to go down. Everyone from FaZe is here already, ready to retake, and we know how strong they have been on average throughout this stage in these various situations. Ethan will get the spike down. Recon comes out. It's enough to get spammed up a bit. Flya does a Goomba stomp down below. Able to get away, though, with a couple of kills.
It's down to Ethan. Stuck on site. And Baby Bay's watching the cross. Oh my goodness. It's another heartbreak for NRG. You get the first blood. You've got the ults that you want. And even still, FaZe pull out these little heroics.
I know. Dude, I wonder how confused he must have been when he jumped down. It's like, that's not the floor. That's not the floor. That's this man's dome piece. And then in the blink of an eye, the kill feed gets littered like a peppermint, and here we are, FaZe up 7-1. And, I mean, just look at this. 4 retakes already from FaZe, 7 in a row. Economics are through the roof for them right now.
Oh, yeah.
They can actually afford gasoline in America. So yeah, I mean, this
in
is
LA, nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, they're out there. They could even go for the extra Supreme if they wanted to. I think at this point, spring for it, I guess. Meanwhile, NRG again, just we've seen some hints of them being able to take some sites and get some exchanges. That round, they even had first blood thanks to Hunter's Fury, but they just haven't really been able to build one all the way through.
I think how I'm going to try to pull the spark notes into what's happened so far through 8.
Oh, that's a callback.
Isn't it?
Dude, I used those so much in high school.
Bro,
Not gonna lie to you.
Catcher in the Rye? Yeah, okay.
Summer
Actually,
reading?
I actually read that.
Right.
Yeah, I read that book. It's a good book. But here's kind of the synopsis and the Spark Notes on what's happened in my mind for the first 8 rounds for NRG.
Yeah, read me the chapter summary. Go ahead.
You're welcome. Here we go. In eco rounds or rounds where they're not able to full purchase, it's been good on creating a mess, but not quite able to finish it by way of, when you have an advantage when it comes to either ultimates a couple of times or numbers. They haven't been able to fully kind of take it over the finish line. On the other front, with these full buy rounds, they haven't been able to get a setup going, really. Outside of that first blood we just saw, we have yet to see NRG really get their game plan in motion, it feels like.
Yeah, it's definitely been a tough run for them so far. Some aggression here coming this time for Baby Bay through Tube. Hayes seems to anticipate this as an option. He's been certainly keeping tabs on it. They're a lot more spread out this time. Some kind of soloing out Long B, creating some presence there. This is definitely kind of, again, more towards the style we've been seeing them play throughout the playoffs, a slower, more default style. The thing is, Baby Bay has a dangerous angle right now on this Tube press.
Yes.
And if he sticks with it, Aldron's going to push him off, actually. This is a great move to get him out of there. They still don't really have that much map control.
No, not, and for what it's worth, for FaZe CLAN, you used a lot of utility to get Baby Bay to that position, but NRG had to spend just as much to get him out.
Well, Wall's
He's
down
not quite
now.
giving off on this.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like NRG should be able to take site and kind of just force play phased retake because they are playing aggressive middle, which means they have quick rotations to screen, but A site, is definitely a vulnerable target right now. NRG's at least going to be able to find that, it seems.
This is by design, though.
Yes.
These have so many ultimates to play with to try to get a retake going. Plus, look at all the utility from Dicey making a mess of this front side of A. Spike planted in a different location, doesn't make a difference. Dicey still is able to capitalize on first blood. Null Command shortly should be coming through for Poise as they look for a retake. And there it is. Now it's on the hit. Paranoia was just sent out by Som, but it really didn't connect with anybody. And Baby Bay goes hunting. Operator in hand, looking to deny any post plant at range. Nice flash over the toxic screen. Makes it easy for Poise. Gets the double. Now the fragment up top not needed. It's just down to Hayes. Nicely done to get 3 in a row. And hold on a second. It's a 1v1 with Supa on the top ropes. Supa from the top rope, literally. Gets the kill, wins the 1v1.
The RKO from the top turnbuckle, baby. Out of nowhere.
GB is going crazy off that reference, I guarantee you that.
Yeah, he is. It's the old Orton. I did that just for him, actually.
I knew you would.
I had to. The man's on the desk. I know the man's a wrestling fan. Wrestling, as we call it here in the South.
Redneck anime.
Yeah. And I guess since we weren't going to get a new Splinter Cell anytime soon, Superman decided, hey, I got you, buddy.
Dude. That is, again, it's another... Have his word until it gets tired. It's another heartbreak for NRG.
It is. It's soul-crushing at this point.
Wow. Same setup to get FaZe into a position to use Baby Bay forward. Aldrone will allow him to take the angle. Last time out for NRG, it was an Aldrone in return to re-clear, but Baby Bay is taking a little bit more of an aggressive side to this angle. Does it work out? EU in the corner! Oh! EU is so lucky to be alive.
EU must have been just in time for 11-11 earlier this morning. And that's just been spent. That wish is gone. Hayes gets an entry as well to add to it. Boys fighting back to at least reel it back into a 4 versus 4. And now he's got Baby Bay for support. But now Baby Bay's all alone.
Oh, and he misses a critical shot. Headhunter does work out, though. Hunter's Fury to create some more space. And now Baby Bay retaking the angle over towards green. Sees the exit, but a little limbo with the Hunter's Fury as NRG lucky to be alive. They'll get the resurrection, but in the same moment, they've lost Tex, and we stay at a 3v3.
Yeah, they know that those 3 are at Long B still as well. This allows Superman to press deep into A confidently, knowing that there really shouldn't be anyone he has to worry about. Now the barrier orb has to be broken. That Energy had to drop just to get the res off. It slows down this progress onto Long B. Aldrone gets a bit of a read here, but Flya tees off.
It's another round where NRG and an Eco do exactly what you could possibly need to do to start setting up the conversations for a Thrifty, but it's only one checkbox of 3 that actually get ticked, and now all of a sudden you're on round 11 and FaZe is up 9-1.
Yeah, FaZe is just destroying things right now, man. Like, it has been wild to see. I mean, just outclassing NRG in almost every metric since Jump Street. It's pistol round for NRG, and that's it. That's all she wrote.
Jeez, bro.
And it's not like they haven't had some chances until these mid rounds, but they just have not been able to close. And now they're starting to get a little bit bullied across the map early round.
Yeah. This is FaZe Clan pulling out the "we're just better than you" playbook. Getting aggressive through green, getting aggressive over towards A. And you could just feel the turmoil that has to be in the comms for NRG right now.
Meanwhile, the confidence is at an all-time high for FaZe.
my.
Everything is working. They've been punished for nothing. Even when Baby Bay missed a few shots, he's able to get away and still finish off with a couple to close out that final round. Now Viper's Pit deployed that long B, going to make it a lot tougher on NRG with very little utility and minimal firepower to try to break through this, but again, they don't really have any idea what's going on the A side of the map after losing that pick to Baby Bay with Sam falling. So they kind of feel like they're maybe forced to play through this, and that's just to keep stalling, keep buying time.
Wow, what a prediction from Supa. Just avoids the Owl drone and turns it into a double. What is happening? No way! It's a triple for Supa. Unbelievable.
Yeah, bro. I mean,
30 seconds left.
it's tough out here for NRG fans. Not a whole lot going their way. That is a Prime Gaming flawless, almost a flawless half, but certainly dominates the round as they have done many, up 10-1. And again, we just aren't seeing any of the strengths that NRG brought to the table throughout playoffs. Again, their first kill percentage drastically improved from groups to playoffs, from 47% to 60%. We're barely seeing them find openings right now. In fact, it's been the Baby Bay show on many of these early round skirmishes. You know, they're not able to get any of the full buys that have come their way, even though they had a drastic increase throughout playoffs. And honestly, you know, while Sam and Tex have stepped up massively between the guard game, their last match of groups, to now, they just haven't been able to find that spark so far on this one.
I think for a lot of people, just to kind of throw the other side of the conversation involved too, if you're a FaZe fan, you're sitting here saying, where was this team versus 100 Thieves? They won 2 defensive rounds and was part of what has been a lot of insane comebacks. EU, though, once again, this is looking pretty solid. First blood onto Supa. Baby Bay trying to jump on into the pit. Not going to work out.
That was optimistic.
It's bold, to say the least.
Indeed, Cotton. It was a strategy that was quite bold. As we are going to see a res, though, for Superman here from Dicey, so they still have a chance, perhaps, in this retake, but the Viper's Pit certainly making things difficult. Have to really find an opening.
Not a lot of utility to use to try to get involved with this either if you're FaZe, but you've got so much money, you might as well just give it a go.
Well, it's the last round,
for
so
3.
You would have
well, that too. Yeah,
that's also a big part of it, I think.
Dude, it's gone by so quickly.
It has.
It doesn't feel like it's been round 12. And NRG will get 2.5. Unbelievable defense from FaZe Clan. Even has me completely kerfuffled. We'll send things to a break. When we come back, we'll see if NRG's got some magic on their defensive half. Don't go anywhere. It was one heck of a convincing first half for FaZe Clan. And on the other side for NRG was one filled with just dismay and turmoil. So many what-ifs. A lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas for NRG. And now they have to put together one of the best defensive sides that we've ever seen from NRG on this map, if we're being honest here, Dust.
You know what they say?
What's that?
If its and butts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a very Merry Christmas.
You know, they do say that.
No one says that anymore.
Not typically in June either.
No, but there is Christmas in July.
That's true. We're almost a full month away from that.
Actually, we're only about a few days now, man. It's getting there. Copenhagen
Well,
right around the corner.
Yeah, it's June 24th, so you'd figure it's a month away.
Okay.
NRG setting it straight down mid.
Is it this exact? Is it July 31st? I mean, I wasn't
25th.
Sure. 25th, yeah. I don't know. What day is it? Do we
It's
know
okay. I
if
didn't know what
July
round
is?
it was at the end of the last half, so we're
True.
good.
Yeah. Oh,
Here we go.
and it was not good. Hayes is getting crushed there.
Yeah.
Spike goes down.
And, well, for FaZe, cover your exit. You've got Baby Bay on yellow. You just feel like he's about to hit a shot. And that could lead to more FaZe pistol stats that look very good for them. Retake on the way, though. NRG going to toggle for the spike. Shock Dart comes out. Baby Bay get a tag, but nothing more. And Ethan's going to be able to just stick this through the snake fight. That will work. Not the cleanest thing we've seen, but it's a round on the board.
It is. It is just surviving the snake bite. Pretty wild, honestly. I think FaZe figured that that would be enough to deter the full stick. Obviously, the barrier orb comes to play. Really hard to break that with basic pistols. Certainly helped NRG out as well. And that is just a necessity to stay alive if you're NRG right there.
Yeah.
Still can't breathe a sigh of relief by any means. They need to combo it. Honestly, this is where you really need to win your bonus in round 3. Like, you cannot afford another scramble early half.
And I think also, if you're NRG, you have to be kind of cautious here to make sure that FaZe has not purchased into this round because they got 4 kills and a spike plant. They're not typically known to do that, but it has to be something you have to work out for. Well, they just won the pistols. They just had pistols.
Yeah, but they won with them. That's my point.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
You got to make sure you don't let that happen again.
Okay.
Yes. We got to the conclusion we needed.
Sam was looking for some early information. He got it. But FaZe are once again going to just back on out. Hayes throwing shoulders for the crossing intel, and FaZe has seen him. They're going prone, crouch, whatever they can to try to find this opening pick, but it's not going to work out, and FaZe are just going to linger in the offensive spawn, create more doubt.
Maybe Bay still hanging around over here at A side, though, trying to see if he can maybe just get a little bit of a pick here with the headhunter and keep the fence interested over there. In the meantime, FaZe putting the rest of their numbers at long B early, but now have doubled back. Just trying to feint it a little bit, try to keep it interested. And I mean, heck, NRG has certainly bit onto that a little bit. They've had 3 players go deep into B, longer rotations now, a lot more stress on Sam
30 seconds
and
left.
Ethan to hold here. Good utility, though.
Exchange of Sage Walls comes out. You look kind of towards EU, who have now, he's used both of his shock darts trying to get FaZe members off the exit. Recon bolt comes through. Dicey stays alive inside of the dirt cover. Ethan's able to track this out, but this is dangerous when it comes to trying to clear these players off quickly, or is it? Stinger headshots at range will do well. Ethan's able to at least force the fight right into the close quarters areas where the Stinger absolutely sings. And NRG, they will not just take the second round, they'll do it in flawless fashion.
Yeah, it was interesting there for a moment. I mean, FaZe gets a plant down in a 5-on-5. Dicey survives the shock darts, able to escape, and you're starting to think, maybe there's a way for FaZe to pull this one through, but NRG uses that superior firepower to their advantage, gets the Prime Gaming flawless retake here. Maybe a little bit more stressful than they wanted it to be, but they got the frags clean, so no worries there. And this is a big bonus round for NRG now.
Huge.
It would be huge to convert this. Otherwise, FaZe is 1 away from map point.
Yeah, this would be unbelievable for the cause, as they say. I don't know who they are in that situation, but I know people say that. So,
yeah, the cause is usually a thing worth fighting for.
typically. I've seen posters that say so.
Yes.
Ethan, a little bit frisky to stay as long as he had, considering all of the information that was gained by FaZe. Costs him a healing orb and significant portion of his armor. Gonna have to play very strategically around this toxic screen. Barrier orb's gonna be put down very quickly. It will reinforce as well. That'll slow down FaZe just a touch, but they'll chip away at it. Slow orb will take the barrier orb's position. Now snake bites to kind of counter as FaZe Clan continue to press forward.
Yeah, they're trying to make sure that no one can play up close and swing on a spike as it tries to make its way in, but at a bit of a standstill now. Look at this position that's being held by Tex, though. He's got so much info, and so NRG can just hold this defense strong, knowing there's really no double back for FaZe without it being detected very early. Spike trying to go down from Poise right now. Looks like he will get it off, and FaZe able to stay entrenched on yellow and long B, but here comes that flank, and we'll have to see. The problem is Tex has a Marshall. It's not the greatest flanking weapon.
Exactly. Yeah, NRG missed a little bit of a timing there. If they could have gotten through that barrier orb before it reinforced, those SMGs could have done a lot of work. But how do you clear backside yellow with Stingers and Spectres? Apparently you just run forward. Pinstripe goes the kill feed. Continuing to get trades back and forth. Superman in the corner, but it's going to be a flash that finishes off the job. Now Tex. Going to get a rifle to play with. 1v1 with Supa. Backside of yellow. Tex is going very quickly. Going to toggle for the spike. This is the first prediction, but he gets the second. And how big is this for NRG? Now 10-5, and all the eco you can want coming into this next round.
Icebox is back on the menu for NRG all of a sudden with that one, and while the Marshall might have not been ideal, the Headhunter was perfect there from Tex, able to get a frag, pick up a Vandal, and then win the 1v1 against Superman. And that is a big, big move there from Tex to save the day frags are starting to favor FaZe here in the post plant for a moment, but Tex pulls it through, and as you said, economy not really there for FaZe. They'll lightly buy up some sheriffs and specters, but making sure they get a full buy next round.
And this all of a sudden turns into a massive opportunity for NRG.
Yes.
Not just because you've gotten this within 5, but FaZe Clan is one of the worst teams in North America so far when it comes to playing at an eco disadvantage in rounds like this. Good first blood for EU, and he wants more. It's not just the kill. He says, I'll take the free real estate as well.
Yeah, maybe Bait is trying to dry peek himself into some success there, which is something that FaZe does like to do on the attack, is try to save the utility or post plant. Try to use it sparingly, try to catch people off guard with timings, but EU read that one. He had the script. Som taking down Flya, so everything going swimmingly so far here early on for NRG over on the safe side of the map, as that's where the spike is headed. Again, they're kind of getting shut down here so far.
Ooh, bold peek from EU into the double of FaZe. That'll work out for 1 kill. 0 Point will read that there are more members nearby. Slow orb to counter the traditional default spot. And FaZe are going to go high. Oh, but Texas read this. Doesn't like the look of it, backs out. Sees the head of one. If Som hits that shot, I lose my mind. But FaZe will get the plant off, and now it's just down to, can you get off of this and maybe possibly set up a little bit of a post plant? Super trying to play forward. Not going to quite work out. Tex for 2. And the last one will be finished off by Som. No worries there for NRG.
Yeah, they had to just kind of fight on site. So man didn't have any snake bites. And obviously Flya gone, didn't have any shock darts. So any way of disrupting diffuses and getting back wasn't really going to work. They had to just kind of stand their ground. Ultimately, NRG flexing that superior firepower and getting themselves round number 6. So now within 4, tying this thing up and joining FaZe for double digits. The FaZe back onto a full buy here so they can kind of settle into their attacking side. As their attacking side has been pretty solid against 100 Thieves. They got 9 earlier on in the playoffs. Again, it was their defense that kind of faltered in that one. But in the group stage, it was kind of varied. Only got 3 attacking rounds against EG, but 6 against Luminosity. So it's kind of been an up and down affair for them on the attacking side. But more often than not, I feel like they're good for at least 6 rounds. Kind of when you look through the history of the year, but some of that obviously with an older lineup. So, I mean, certainly they still have the room to make that happen, but NRG has certainly, you know, put this one back up for grabs. Tex is starting to find some rhythm. That's been good. You feel Som can get online, then I think it's going to get spicy.
I think the other interesting thing, and I don't have on hand the numbers to back this up, it's more of a feeling than anything else. It kind of just feels like when FaZe runs compositions like this, where you don't have explosive duelists, you're not running a Neon, you're not running a Jet, for instance. FaZe usually great at getting on the site, but typically struggle when it comes to converting the post plant. Whereas when they're running heavy duelist comps, or at least fast duelist comps, I feel like they struggle to get the execution that they're looking for out of like the speed and tempo. Maybe it's just a feeling thing for me, but I feel like when we see FaZe Clan struggle on offense, it's for some of those reasons. And at least for now, if that does kind of hold true, it would be replicate of what we're seeing here so far through the first couple of rounds on their attack.
Standing ahead.
Yeah, definitely still a small sample size here as far as full buy rounds go to kind of see where things are headed in the second half. But at the very least, NRG has done the bare minimum to get themselves back into contest. And Tex able to find an opening here. Again, NRG lacking first bloods in the first. That's when they improved upon between groups to playoffs. But now Texas right back into full swing here defensively. Spots another as well, so has the info. Slides over to yellow with a little bit of support to try to see if he can maybe grab a bit more.
Oh, this utility is so good to get Tex into position. Gets the rendezvous back down. Hunter's Fury to flush him out. Goodness. It's just as clean as you'd like. Setting up Tex for easy kills. If you're new to watching NRG, that's what you should come to expect. Where did that snake bite go? Over the map.
It went to a different plant zone than where he thought it might get planted. So not quite going to find the mark there. And FaZe starting to fight back a little bit now all of a sudden. 3 versus 3 post plant here.
Well done. So well done. Soup is able to earn up the Viper's Pit to reinforce this resurrection also to try to get this to 11, but Ethan is able to at least find one in response, and EU's timing around the back. If he can find a double, it's definitely doable. Now all of a sudden, it's a 2v1. Soup is still lurking inside of his pit. Catches the first, no problem. Also avoids the shock dart. EU off the reload, toggles the spike. But Supa not going to be baffled, at least not initially. Going to try to play out the clock. Even finds the kill. And it's 3 kills for Supa for the Red Bull clutch.
Oh my goodness. I can't tell you how hard that shot is. He's coming out the pit. He has no idea, really, if the spike is being stuck at that point in time, if the guy's behind yellow, waiting for him to step out on a bit of a fake. And then Supa just has to react so quickly here. Look at the snap from the perspective of EU. He had a chance there. A little bit of a blown opportunity on a couple of whiff bullets, and that allows Superman to seal it up. That puts FaZe to 11. Very crazy round considering the openings that Tex got. He figured NRG were on for another one there, but FaZe fight back.
I just feel like the wind has just exited the sails, so to speak, for NRG. But they do play aggressive forward over towards Zay. Look at Hayes, the ability to use the Viper's Pit, if so choosing to use it. Aldrone looking to scout out Ethan. That will connect. Slow Orb will contest to make sure there is no follow-up for an easy kill. And we'll kind of go neutral outside of the fact that NRG are showing a lot of aggression through mid.
Indeed, they are holding that forward angle. Ethan also trying to hold a little bit of an off angle over towards yellow sides. They're definitely trying to play pretty deep on all fronts and not really give FaZe a whole lot of space to launch from. But here comes that full-fledged attack through long. Ethan only good for one. Immediately trade there by Dicey. As the spike is making its way into B, it will get planted here behind the barrier, or Poise is going to get res, so it's going to be a 5-on-4 post plant for FaZe. But, well, not anymore.
Still looking okay, though, for FaZe with the plant. They do get a couple of members deep, and with Poise coming back to life, he's got the ability to utilize not just the fragment, but also to re-peek over to Yellow to make sure that that is in control of the attackers. Tex waiting for a cross. No one's going to provide. Paranoia on the way out. Poise looking to get aggressive into this dark cover. Spams it through. No one home. Now it's on to the 1v1 with Sam. Wins that, no problem. Tex looking to get the trade. Finds the first. Off the reload. Goes to the Headhunter. How does he hit that shot? And now a 1v1 with Baby Bay. Headhunter out. Whoa. Bang! Tex for 3. And enough time to get the 7 off the defuse.
What? Dude, no way he pulls that off. Like, look at how that was playing out. I love Poise not overdoing it on spamming the spike. He waits, he catches Sam pushing. It's looking like that should be it. But Tex with the Headhunter doesn't miss a bullet between Poise and Baby Bay there on that 1 versus 2. I mean, good lord, just 2 1-taps and has just enough time to defuse. This is starting to get interesting. It was a little bit of a landslide first half. Now we got ourselves a real slugfest.
Well, hazed off the Viper's Pit earned from the last round. We'll use that to defend green on the B side of the map. Watching over the middle, it's Tex who doesn't just get a collat. He uses the slow field to get a 3rd, and no one can touch Tex.
Enemy remaining. Spike down B.
Tex is feeling it right now, man. He is coming back, and that's a prime gaming flawless and NRG within 3 of tying this thing up, and that's what we've been waiting to see. NRG came to this game pretty flat, if we're honest, but throughout playoffs, Tex was number 2 in first bloods, number 2 in first bloods per round, number 4 in first blood success rate, and really finding himself in this chamber role after some tough opening matches in the groups. His ACS skyrocketed 48 points. And I mean, now we're starting to see that finally come into play here when it's needed most to keep NRG in the hunt of their map pick. With elimination on the end of the series.
Oh boy, Tex. Do you have more in store for us? No. Uses the rendezvous before the 0 point can connect. Aldrone is going to follow up for FaZe. That will be denied as suppression starts to echo across the A site. Hunter's Fury now a part of the equation, and Sam just barely able to sneak out. But the problem is FaZe have moved forward with this, gotten a first blood.
Oh!
Turn that into a second. Sam looking to get creative with his little teleport's not going to work out in FaZe on a 5v3 post plant.
Sam's had a couple of missteps with that shrouded step throughout this game. I feel like each time he's tried to make a play with it, it's been busted. And it's really kind of come back to haunt him in some of these key situations. It's a 5-on-4 in favor of FaZe here in the post plan. NRG need this retake to stop FaZe from getting that point.
Oh, and FaZe just in a lot of 1-for-1 spots are winning all of their individual gunfights. He's been able to fight back just a touch, but immediately traded upon being called on. It just falls to EU, and they're just going to toy with them. Decent shot attempts, but not going to work out, and it's FaZe. After all the explosivity from Tex, still on map point.
You got to respect the composure from FaZe. I mean, NRG was starting
100%.
to really surge back up the leaderboard. when it comes to fragging and rounds played. I mean, heck, Tex there was looking like he was about to be top fragger on the server for a moment with 20 frags, but Superman up to 23. Baby Bay joins him at 20. And we're seeing FaZe clamp down. They've been able to go tit for tat these last 4 rounds, and that's all they need to do. They just need one more to get them across the finish line. And so NRG take the time out to talk things through. Obviously, Tex has been critical in openings throughout these rounds. But again, I feel like Psalm at times has tried to make some big plays with that teleport. He's been busted almost every time. And he's had an off game in general.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, the first line of defense, if that's Tex for NRG, fine. I'll buy into that. I'll be your first angel investor. But what's the second line of defense looking like? Because at the moment, that's where they've really faltered. Outside of Tex finding opening first bloods, there has been decent and honestly, maybe too easy of out trades for FaZe in 4v5 situations so far. So that's where I think the biggest conversation needs to be here for NRG. And I think that you're good on calling for Zom because, you know, on the opposite side, the only thing that's different between these comps, very obviously, is the fact that Poise is running the KO and Sam is running the Omen, and you can see the value. 12 assists for Poise, and how good was he individually defensively on the A zone.
Honestly,
for FaZe,
the only other person stepping up besides Tex or NRG has been EU. And look, I often think EU might be one of the most underrated players for his role in North America. Like, such a good initiator, always a very good Sova, has been able to flex to other agents as well throughout NRG's run through playoffs and some of their group stage games as well. Definitely a solid player. Again, I think he gets overlooked quite a lot, but it's got to be someone else too. It can't just be EU and Tex. Someone else has to get it going here because FaZe is firing on all cylinders right now.
FaZe looking to get a little bit fast with a couple of members over towards B. Orb will be collected by Poise. That's the null command now earned. Tex looking for the cross, but misses the feet. It's a dangerous peek, but he does take the Baby Pay. EU looking to follow up with the Hunter's Fury, but blindly, it will not quite make it.
Yeah, he was trying to see if he could catch Tex before he got healed, because he did get tagged up quite a bit on the rendezvous, but he's able to get away, and Ethan will supply him the health back. Puts him back up to 90, so pretty healthy here. Saw him trying to play top screens and get a pick. Not able to do it, but does fall back. Shatters the barrier, but the plant still comes through here from Superman. He does have both Snake Bites and Flya still alive as well.
They do tap away at Supa very heavily. It's down just underneath half HP.
There's so much post-plant utility, in fact. Fragment
will come
shock
through.
darts, snake bites, everything.
Yep. Have to wait for the suppression, though. And FaZe are just going to give away some of this space. Oh, that's a huge pick from Sam. Takes down Poise, who was the heavy carrier of a lot of this post-plant utility. So now you got to get done with the weapons, and it's not going to work out. How about it for NRG? You want Poise to step up? He gets a critical 1v1 win to keep NRG in the map.
Wow, man. Don't even let any of that post-plant utility come into play from FaZe. Everyone got pummeled before they could ever launch it. Obviously, one of the biggest things was Poise going down there, not able to get the fragment, which would have stopped them from being able to press forward and would have kind of protected Flya and Superman to be able to get their utility off, and it just does not happen. Tex again finding the opening here. That's been kind of their bedrock of the comeback. And so that comes through, and now this retake was flawless, man.
Yeah.
Ripping and tearing like a Doom soundtrack into a 9th round.
Is that like Doom soundtrack from like the 90s?
Yeah, the little Mick Gordon.
Love that. Okay.
Remakes have all been good fire as well.
That's fair. Tex gets a chance at a shot as the opening recon bolt was denied, but not quite able to convert. And now Hazed wants to take a step with Tex, actually. Working over through yellow. Drone will be taken care of, but they do not know that Hazed is here. And it works out wonderfully! A double for Hazed! Tex still contesting the opposite side of yellow, but needs to call upon his friends for a little bit of assistance. Paranoia in the picture. And now NRG are here with numbers. And oh boy, we're looking down at 12-10 unless Supa's got more heroics in store for us, but this would be Reddit worthy at 15 HP. Not going to work out. Yeah, we've got a 2-round game here, Dust.
Indeed we do. NRG has started to fight back here. They are not going down without swinging first. But FaZe, again, they need just one more, and they've done a pretty good job about keeping their composure thus far this half. I mean, they went down early in this half with NRG, I think, getting, what, like a 4-0 run to kick off the second half or something to that effect. Really closing the gap on the scoreboard early, draining the big lead. But FaZe have been able to claw a couple of rounds here to at least keep them out in front, and they just need to connect one more, and they have a few big ults here to do it with, including that Viper's Pit.
patience this time for NRG. They get forward for the orb at A and then immediately just back off. And look at the heavy stack. Just stacking the box at mid. Tex 1v1 with Baby Bay.
Dude, Baby Bay cannot get away from this guy.
No.
I swear every place Baby Bay's tried to go and poke and prod, Tex has been waiting there with the sniper and has done him in. I mean, that has been such a key head-to-head this second half, and I mean, it's been huge for Tex to be ahead in that duel as they're still trying to force what they have left here over towards Ace map. Again, they still have Viper Spit they can drop in a post plant to try to pull this one through, but Sam and company trying to disrupt their take onto site. A great flash comes through for Sam to build off of as well.
It's all gone wrong for FaZe Clan. Supa again, last one left alive, could do nothing with it in. I was about to say, depending on how the timing of this round worked out and really how it fared, FaZe needed kills to be able to afford much of really anything when it comes to a full buy here in round 24. Maybe a couple of rifles, but they're going to be without full armor here, Dust. This is everything on the line right now. NRG looking to force overtime. Unreal. What do you call here? I think that's the other thing is in a position where to get to overtime, if you're NRG, do you continue just to run rampant with Tex? I don't know about you, Dust, but that's kind of where my headspace is at. I feel like you just kind of keep using these opening angles as much as you possibly can. Well, looks like Dust has lost connection for a second. We'll get him back. Don't worry. Hi, guy. I told the people that you'd be back.
It's a struggle over here, man. It's a struggle. But we're back. And yeah, just to kind of answer your question, we definitely need to see this continue. If you're Baby Bay, I feel like you kind of are a little bit timid at a certain... I mean, Tex just seems to be everywhere you try to go. I'd like to see them try to do something to get Baby Bay a little bit more...
Oh, do we lose? I think we lost Dust again. We'll get him back. We'll do it. We'll get him back. FaZe considered the timeout, though. And what Dust was going off of there, I think, is just largely speaking to the point of, do you stay timid with Baby Bay, try to keep him alive for just long enough? Because I'd be curious. I know we've got Welders on the backside doing stats just when it comes to how that opening duel has gone between Tex and Baby Bay. Depending on who wins it, what's the win success rate look like for the team that gets the first blood? We'll see. Timeout ended. We'll jump on into this one while Dust tries to reconnect. You've got one Vandal and then a bunch of Spectres if you're FaZe. They've done more with less, I'll say that much. And it looks like they don't even want to worry about kind of stretching the map. They're going to go quickly, but the thing about this is NRG have 4 positions over towards green. So they should have some pretty good awareness that this hit is on the way. But it will still be on Hazed to see what he wants to do for the opening defense. And he's going to give this plant up. Does a little bit of damage to the wall. Shock darts start to come through. Poise will take a pretty good chunk of damage off of that, but the Viper's Pit still gets planted. And now at the post plant for FaZe. Dicey watching the flank. Everyone else huddled up largely inside of the Viper's Pit. Hayes looking for a chance to get back in. Snake bites coming through with the recon bolts. Maybe they will clear and then immediately rendezvous out. Dicey on the flank. Huge 1v1 here. Attacks and wins it. That's the flank now made safe. NRG have to get this done from the front. They take care of Poise, but you've got to find more than that. The kill's still on the way. 4v4 we go. FaZe, a post plant setup in multiple forms. The barrier orb not quite able to break this in time. It's just down to 1. Sam and Hayes look to get it done. Hayes looking to stick on 1 HP, and it's not going to work out. FaZe Clan, this gut check call with SMGs to rush to A. They get the full flood. They get the Viper's Pit down, and they take map number 1. There's Dust. He looks so
That's
good.
the most FaZe way to end a match right there, bro. Just full Smeeg with SMGs into the site and let that baby ride. That baby be an old Baby Bay himself, bro. They just get him in there. Oh, my goodness, man. What a way to finish things off. What a wild game that was from how close it, got, considering how far apart we started. I mean, that is, man, that match delivered if you're a fan of Valorant for sure.
So I think we go back to what we said in the first half a lot about how this map's going to feel like for NRG, and we use the word heartbreak. The last round of the map, rather, You've got every advantage you possibly could want when it comes to weaponry. You even get good map positioning, but you feel like FaZe isn't going to hit you where you're least expecting it. And wouldn't you know it, FaZe does what FaZe does best, and they do exactly that. So NRG missed out on a pretty big opportunity throughout their first half to possibly find a couple of key rounds, and how big those could have been to turn the Tides map #1. But it's a 13-11 final. The desk, I'm sure, has more than enough to talk about. So we'll send things to a break, bring them back on before we get to map #2. Don't go anywhere. You're still watching NA VCT playoffs. We'll be back after this.
I need a drink after that one. That was too much. You know, one side, it looked like the game was going to be over in a minute. The next side, you know.
It's tough. It's tough. You know, I think I know just the thing for you. I think it's time.
What are you doing?
We're going to pull something off the top shelf. We're going to do something, you know, GB, it's been a long day. I know it's past your bedtime already here on the East Coast. So
yes.
We're going to do something good. We're going to pull something straight off the top shelf. This is a vintage 1903 Red Bull sugar-free. Don't worry, it's not past expiration date. It'll be all good.
But it's 1903. I don't know.
Fine. It's fine. It's,
Yeah, okay.
It's only like 100 years.
Where did you get wine glasses from?
Red Bull glasses, please. Have some
Bull
respect
glasses.
here. Have some respect
Okay,
here.
is this actually happening? Why do you look like you're struggling to hold the tray?
I'm not struggling to hold the tray, for the record. I think, you know, I didn't go to 4 years of sommelier school for Red Bull just to be disparaged on my form.
Okay.
All right.
There's one for me.
I pulled it. No, you're not old enough.
What do you mean? You're the same age.
Yes.
All right. Now that I got my
Now that you're
drink,
ready.
hold on.
I feel like I poured.
You know? Oh man, the tannins, it smells like a
Yeah?
fake comeback.
Oh, we
That's what
love fake comebacks.
We love fake comebacks here at the desk. All right, guys, let's go ahead.
We're putting the tray here.
The tray's going
The tray's
there.
living here.
Oh my goodness. All right, folks. As you can tell, it's late over here, but we're having fun. And this matchup, look, they had us in the first half, not gonna lie. Okay, Mimi, it started off looking good for FaZe. They were just pounding NRG. NRG, they bookend the half. They won the first, they won the last, and then after that, it just all fell apart. What the hell happened this game?
It was really, I think, especially in that first half and in the second as well, just the story of the retakes for both of these teams. NRG in the early round, they could get the spike down, but consistently, they were losing to player to Baby Bay, getting that spike on down, and then FaZe's comp is just so well suited to fight for these retakes. Pop down that Sage wall, they were practically always saving it. Supa had consistently fantastic flanks. Players were holding in such a good way, and NRG just could not close out whatsoever. They planted 7 times, only won 5 of those.
Yeah,
Only won 2 of those, excuse me. They lost 5.
Yeah, not only was FaZe's utility just honestly perfect, but I mean the supporting cast was playing insane. Like Fire was 12-7, Supa was 16-5. Or no, sorry, Baby Bay was 16-5, and Supa was 14-6. Like those 3 players were just popping off, allowing them to get such early kills and have such a high impact on like the defensive half.
Yeah, and it was the same really true in the second half here for NRG. They similarly. You're just good. You're working way through. I'm glad. You can't waste it. Can't waste it. Good stuff there. Good stuff there.
High quality stuff.
I completely lost my train of thought. But we were talking about NRG. They too were fantastic in towards those retakes in the way that they were playing on their second half. And I think that was one of the big moments in which they were able to rally things as close as it came. But I want to rewind a second and talk about FaZe again, because I think they're one of the teams in NA that has a good pull on the map identity. Last weekend, me and Ender were just bullying teams consistently for not double flanking, not playing comps that were as optimal on Icebox. I think a lot of teams are still kind of figuring this map out after the changes and after some of the meta shifts. I think FaZe gets it. They're constantly fighting for those double flanks, the extremity control. It's why it was so tough for NRG to ever win in those post plants.
Yeah, and FaZe on attack was actually looking pretty solid, and I think they NRG on attack. They rattled on a lot of plants. Also with NRG, they rattled on 9, or FaZe, sorry, they got 9 plants, and I think they only lost like 2 or 3 of them. So they were actually looking pretty damn good planting the bomb for free, but they struggled kind of like closing out the rounds.
It was 6 of those that they lost out of 9.
6 of them they lost, and 3 they won. Sorry, I think I said 3 they lost. But yeah, anyways, FaZe was looking beautiful on getting the bomb down, but they just couldn't really hold the site.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's just very clear that like, you know, when it comes down to, I feel like a fool holding it. I'm not really a fool, but I feel too fancy for it.
It's still so comically large. It's too big for anyone's hands.
It's like the largest wine glass I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, I think that like what it really boiled down to is you could really see just the difference in the first match of this one. It felt like that there were times where both teams, they had a plan of attack. They had a strategy. And then it got to a point where they were just fishing for information. But thankfully, you know, you have players that are able to pop off at big moments like Tex,
Yeah.
for example.
I mean, we've been
Tex was a
talking.
god.
Insane.
He was
Insane
a
performance
god.
from him.
Like this play right here was just absolute insanity, Valen.
Yeah. The one where he flicked, the one where he got the kill and then flicked to the guy out of the smoke and won the 1v3 clutch on the post. That was insane. I mean, he was getting so many early kills, so many crucial kills for the team. Even this play, locking down a mid to B strat instantly with the tour de force. I mean, this is the play I'm talking about.
This is it.
Yeah.
Gets
Sorry,
one.
yeah.
Look at this flick. Oh my god.
Just instantly to the headhunter.
And then knows he has to tap right away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sets on him
and Dust
takes him
had
out.
the call on it. He did say that, you know, he felt like FaZe were playing that right. But there's so many times, Mimi, where you think you're playing the play correctly, and then someone just goes demon mode and just pops you in the face.
Yeah, FaZe was really struggling on the attacking side, and it was basically just flip from what we saw, right? First, it was Baby Bay in the early rounds with the operator, but you get on over. Tex is doing even better for himself in those moments, and while he doesn't stick around quite as much as like a player like Ye, he's not quite as patient in that regard. It means he's alive a lot. He's alive in the late rounds to win out in those clutch situations. It was good for NRG, but again, not enough. Fake comeback. We go to the second.
Fake comeback. Love to see it. All right. Well, we are
Do you
going to
love to
be,
see
you know, not really. You know, I'm not like the biggest fan, but you know,
It's fine.
it is what it is. You know, we had a good game. We had an entertaining matchup. And we made some friends
There you
along
go.
the way. So that's really all you
It's
can
all
ask
about
for.
friendship.
All right,
Cheers.
here we go. Cheers. Cheers, Valen. All right, Agent Select's underway here for our next game. We are going to be going to Haven for map 2. And, you know, are we expecting any curveballs here potentially? I mean, Baby Bay on the Neon. Love seeing that at least.
Yeah, I'm doubtful we'll get any changes in as this all gets locked on. And it's not to be expected, or nothing is really going to be changing on through. EU plays that Sova. Ethan sticking by the breach, the double initiator, looking to set Som on up. I'm glad they're moving away from the tomfoolery on their map. They're going back to what works. I'm a big fan of Som on that raise. I think it is a good example of the kind of different identities for these teams. FaZe is very committed to the speed, to the Neon energy, a lot more committed to the utility, the combos they can make work with that raise.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Honestly, I wish I could have saw a fade come out of EU because I think he plays an incredible fade.
He does.
Yeah, if you guys saw our match, you know,
And they used to be playing it on this map as well. When they were running the Yoru, I believe they were playing in towards that fade. They've moved away. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Did you see your face when you
Yeah,
said that?
they
when
played
you
out
in
in
his
drop
eyes.
400 ACS, so I need this guy on fade
You
right
need another
now.
sip of Red
Also,
Bull.
the combo with the raise, like keeping
Yeah.
a lobby control and defense with fade and raise is just beautiful. Also, adding on the breach. I mean, I'm excited. These are two phenomenal comps. I'm excited to see.
Yeah,
Wow.
either way, it is going to be exciting to watch. All right, guys. Well, it's now time to jump into our game phase. They're currently up 1-0 in this best of 3. Do or die for NRG if they want to stay alive in this bracket. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy myself.
Can I get some of that?
I'm really
Actually, Golden
disappointed I
Boy?
didn't pour myself a
Red
glass.
Bull. You really should
Can
have.
you give a sip to them?
Here,
give a sip
guys,
to them.
I'm going to give a sip to you, Dust.
Yeah.
There you go. Here
I got you.
There it is. That just
bad.
looks so
Not
bad.
Let me get that.
Just tastes like Energy fans' tears with a hint of hopium for FaZe. It's just a great combination, really. Love to see it.
Yeah, the hopium is actually the bubbles that you see coming up. That's
Okay.
actually aerated by hopium. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
And also, I will say, for somebody who has proclaimed himself as a national treasure and a global icon, GB needs to learn that stemware is stemware for a reason.
Yeah, you hold the stem.
Hold it by the stem.
Yes, sir. You don't want
That's
to
why
warm
it's
up the
there.
liquid.
You wouldn't want to warm that up.
Also, if you're trying to be more fancy with those glasses, you always have to just say it has hints of oak. It makes you sound a lot more sophisticated, you know,
Yeah,
at
that's
all,
true.
at all opportunities.
An oaky finish.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Anytime you could just use the word oak, you're good. You're like instant level 1 sommelier right there.
That's facts.
Yes.
I'm ready to see between Mimi and GB, whichever decides to pull the first Som class for Red Bull. I'm here for it. Yeah. Hey, shoulder peek? Oh yeah, that works. Poise does get one in response though, considering the isolation for NRG's defense looked good through mid, and all of a sudden actually FaZe, even though you lose pressure at mid, you're already up through sewer, and they don't even need to burst onto site. They can just slow walk onto site.
Yeah, they're able to get up long here with Fly. A spike coming in. Shock dart, though, from EU. It's interesting. He's going to guess it perfectly.
Wow,
Boom!
dude.
That is spike not planted there from EU. Recon Bolt goes down as well. Baby Bay going to get blipped by that. EU not able to connect any bullets, but he slowed this attack down so very much. And NRG has such a mankind advantage now.
You think he used on his homework on FaZe
Could
plant
be.
positions
Very
on
well.
pistols?
Yeah.
Yeah. fast lane just to get Baby Bay out. Aftershock was there. Superman needed to do more than just the one, as there was really no chance to fight off the final 3 for Baby Bay. So, decent to get a plant and a couple of kills for FaZe, but largely speaking, good initiation, just proactivity from NRG in the middle of the map.
Yeah, just a bait and switch at mid, as well as from front B site. Comes up with a 2-for-1 trade. Also, just great work from EU up top, shutting down the initial plant attempt, and NRG's putting it all together here on the pistol round of FaZe's map pick of Haven, which... a little surprised to see it come out. Honestly, I would have thought FaZe would have gone for Breeze or Fracture, one of whatever was open. I mean, they've won their last 5 games in a row on Fracture. Like, look super hot on it lately, and I think they've won like their last 10 in a row or something like that on Breeze. So like, they've just been in such fine form. One of those had to come through in the ban phase. I would have thought they would have went there. But Haven, to be fair, has been a good map for them throughout the course of this year at the core of their team. They've won their last 4 in a row on Haven. So maybe they just felt like they had something cooked up for it.
Yeah. And well, how about something cooked up for round number 2? It's going to be a full purchase, as best as it could be for FaZe as they try to work their way on in, but the opening towards B is immediately shut down. Dicey missing widely. But his teammate's able to pick things up only for a small time. Trade still favoring the defensive NRG. Spike will be dropped. Superman can only take one more with him. And NRG are going to be really happy to see them cleanly get through the force buy situation for FaZe.
Yeah, they're going to be able to get to 3-0 now pretty quickly here with little stress. As far as NRG goes with Haven, I mean, had a pretty good win against the Guard in the group stages, kind of hinted at there in the conversation between Mimi and Valen on the desk. A little bit different composition, I guess you could say. But to be fair, I mean, they made this exact comp work when they played against the Guard in groups. So
yeah,
not too surprising there. But outside of that, I mean, outside of that win against the Guard, I mean, a little bit bumps in the road here and there throughout this year on it. As Baby Bay with the frenzy going hard. He's not done. That stun's going to connect, I think, but he just gets away anyhow.
Well, or does he? High gear, paranoia, everything coming through to try to get Baby Bay a little bit extra space around this site. And yeah, that works out nicely. Ethan able to fight back, though, from the link. That's going to do well to at least give an opportunity to contest, especially considering that the planter of poise was critical HP. Ethan connects not just off the aftershock, but also with the Phantom. And all of a sudden, it's just down to Baby Bay. Flashed up, hands are out. And, well, this isn't the pacer test. You can't just go back and forth to 2 points. NRG, clean on the retake.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing such a good job getting frags off the spike plant so far this half. It was shock darts before. That time it's the aftershock through. I mean, you at least saw some hints there from FaZe, some hints of brilliance. I mean, this level of initiation utility with Baby Bay on Neon is pretty deadly combination. So we see Sam just showing you how quickly he gets up there, but Baby Bay just still beats him to the punch. But yeah, again, it's just this utility stuffing the planner each and every time, and Baby Bay just a little bit of desperation sliding there under Evan. As FaZe will call a timeout here pretty quickly. Off to a cold start. Only 7 combined frags right now.
Yeah. And here's the thing, too, just to kind of, again, paint the picture here for this FaZe composition and what they're looking to utilize in some sort of successful nature with the speed, is avoiding the timings of the breach. That was one of the big keys, at least kind of rewatching back the Sentinels matchup, where Shazam was just not quite connecting from the defensive side onto Baby Bay, who popped off for nearly 35 kills. Granted, that was a double, triple overtime affair or something of the nature, but that categorized success that we saw from FaZe on the offense in particular came by way of Baby Bay beating timings. So as much as I think you look at this to say, okay, Ethan, can you be better there? At the moment, it's NRG doesn't even want to beat FaZe to the punch on these opening initiations, maybe outside of that play from Sam. It looks like they're just going to try to save all of the utility, or at least the majority of it, out of Ethan for retake situations, which I can really get on board with.
Yeah, so far so good here for NRG. Their tournament life is on the line. Loser is out. Winner plays X-Set tomorrow for a chance at Copenhagen. FaZe back on the full buy here, getting the sewers pretty rapidly, thanks to the pace of the Neon. Superman, of course, coming with him here. Mid push, though, from NRG in response, taking some open space. There is a trademark there that would detect a window flank, and Dicey is watching garage side, so FaZe, minding their P's and Q's here. Well, the timing could happen. Dicey,
yeah, sure could.
In dangerous waters right now, but getting some support now.
And this is the thing. Ethan never used his opening fault line, so he has the ability to try to stun this if he wants to. while FaZe are kind of waiting to see where this engagement's going to come through. It's hazed for one, but poised. How does he snap onto a double? Massive trade back, and now all of a sudden FaZe can start setting up with Seekers to hit over towards it.
Trademark's broken, though, so this window flank from Som could come into play, but oh, never mind. Seeker does detect that, so he's going to be forced back in the B side. Here comes the hit now from FaZe onto the site.
Oh my
though,
goodness.
from up top, continues to wreak havoc from above, and now will drop down, spots one towards Sewers, and knows that they haven't got up long just yet.
They've gotten the retake through. The Rolling Thunder gets NRG back on towards site. But Fly Out, oh, maybe he could beat a timing, but not the case. And that is exactly what I'm talking about. Ethan doesn't use anything in the opening of the round, and FaZe is waiting to see, is he going to use this fault line? Is he going to try to flash anybody forward? That doesn't end up happening, and you think that the initial double from Poise is going to be good enough, but then all of a sudden EU's got full utility, Ethan's got full utility plus an ult, and it's just easy cleanup from there on out for NRG.
EU has been crushing it with his utility so far on these retakes, and this wasn't even really a retake. I mean, yeah, they recaptured the site, but in a little bit of a different way, I guess you could say.
Yeah, sure,
the timing of how it comes through with really no spike threat. And again, this is the EU that you know and love, man. The guy that sometimes just flies under the radar a bit, but certainly one of the best in his role in the region.
Overdrive for Baby Bay as the hit comes over towards the B zone. Spike try to get planted. Hunter's Fury from EU to try to deny. Gonna be a bit off. Doesn't really tag too much. Energy low here for Baby Bay as he did his job to clear the site, but the overdrive doesn't really find much value as far as damage is concerned. So now we turn our attention back towards NRG. 2-3 split on this retake. Superman the only one inside, and he's got a stinger to try to help this defense as much as possible on the plant. Fly a good for two from the window. Super though caught off guard, and NRG getting the trades they need. Poise and Dicey, the last one's left. Som deals with one, and you should know where Poise is coming from.
Oh my God.
Well done. Ethan even moves over to make sure no one can touch him. Good stuff from NRG.
What a round from Som on this retake. I mean, you know, obviously you have to point out great use of utility for energy to clear out some of the corners to limit the angles they had to worry about as they come into B. They also limit the impact of any plays through link areas. But Som flies over the top, gets one, finds the second, and then plays the perfect Guardian Angel role here, where Ethan never even has to worry about being pressured. Wish we could have saw the first kill as well. I mean, the dude just alley-ooped with satchels up top. No one even really discovered it. He just gets a freebie and then drops down for two more. Just what a wild run. And Som having a quiet game on Icebox. Good to see him back in form for this one when they need him most. Stay away from elimination. And Tex, there comes that opening opping again.
Yep. And that time it is enabled by the fault line, which had not been thrown out yet.
Right.
At least in gun rounds. So, again, FaZe just kind of caught off guard by the mind games that NRG are playing. If you were to consider this to be a 3D game of chess, NRG currently taking all the major pieces, really.
We are going to see FaZe pivot over here towards Long B. Hayes is anchoring this side, does have some utility, does spot it with the jump peek there. Able to start throwing up some smokes to kind of make their progress a bit tougher, but we do see the aftershock, the paranoia, lots of pressure for Hayes. He's able to escape back to the platform, does get hit by that Rolling Thunder, however, but they can't run him down.
The help is so good! Oh my goodness! Hayes creates his own initial and largely secondary lifeline, and then Som throws Kobe over the top. Paint shells work out, and yeah, he just looks Hayes dead in the eye and says, "Tell me you love me, brother."
That's a creepy way to say it, but I guess I don't know.
I was gonna like whisper it, but I didn't think the mic would pick it up.
Yeah, I think that would have been creepier if you whispered it. Actually, it might have been for the best that you didn't.
That was the goal. Okay, fair.
But yeah, great counter utility from NRG, of course. Like shock darts, paint shells, everything comes over the top. Obviously, good stalling tactics from Hayes with the smokes there to buy time for rotation. And I mean, NRG are on a heater right now defensively. I mean, FaZe cannot find anything. See you later.
Oh, dude.
Deleted.
Nope.
Maybe Bay has
not interested.
Really gotten much in the way of first bloods here. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
This is kind of the things we're talking about during moments of
How many
Icebox.
kills are NRG going to get through this heaven smoke?
Apparently of all of them.
Yeah, I guess.
Spike down A.
I mean, it's on the table. Unreal. I was going to say, I mean, talking about FaZe on comps like this was where my worry was. You know, it's all about trying to get initial execution success, whether that's on defensive retakes or especially on the offense, trying to get onto site. And if they get beat on these kind of choke points, these points of ingress, how do you adjust?
The thing is, like, when Baby Bay is coming forward on some of these presses, there isn't really enough to rattle the person holding the angle.
No.
Like, Tex has been able to comfortably just kind of sit there, and yeah, maybe you're going to be sprinting at him, but you're running in a straight line, and there's nothing flashing him, there's nothing him pushing him off. Like, it just seems like with the utility that FaZe have at their disposal, they could be maximizing it better, I think, to give Baby Bay more favorable duels if he really is going to try to run it that quick and take that much space at the beginning of the round. And it's just not really coming together the way that you would think it would. Dicey, 0-7. I mean, that is just crazy. I mean, again, he and Baby Bay are amongst the top 5 in First Blood success rate, First Bloods per round, so on and so forth. But they're not getting anything opening-wise here. And NRG, again, one of the big things that we talked about when we started this series was their First Blood percent has gone way up since groups. And you're seeing why. Tex has settled into this chamber role, and they're getting some, great efficient use of utility. Like I said, they're not burning it too early. They're using it just the right places. And I mean, everyone is popping off right now. I mean, their bottom fragger has 6, their top's at 9. Like, that's just a great spread.
There's been no success anywhere in the map for FaZe.
No. Nowhere. I mean, the one time that they had something go their way was Poise gets a 2-for-1 trade in the middle a few rounds ago. And then it didn't wind up mattering.
Nope. And that was that only plant that they've largely been able to get, which was on B.
Yeah, and their planners always die, like, instantly.
Yep.
Whether it's been the Aftershock or Shock Darts. Again, there's been so many Heaven smoke spams that have been successful for NRG with some of their lineups in that regard. Like, they look like they were prepared to play this map. Which, again, I am surprised FaZe didn't go for a Breeze or a Fracture pick.
Thank you.
One of the two, whatever was available. But yeah.
It was Breeze at the end. They were the ones to take it out in the second round of veto process.
That's wild to me.
I mean, there's a question about that for sure.
The only thing I can think of is that maybe they just felt there was too much film on them on it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Either way, this Haven pick so far has certainly backfired.
Yeah. I mean, you would be right, by the way, as far as the film is concerned. They played it in week 5. They played it in lower round 1. They played it in lower round 2.
Yeah, there's a lot out there.
And there were a lot of rounds played in each of those 3 maps, too. So
yeah, and again, there are no slouches on Haven. Certainly it has been a strength of FaZe in the past. They've won their last 4 games in a row, in fact.
I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy to me because as we sit in kind of posture for a while, as FaZe looks to probably get into Garage for the first time.
Yeah.
The thing about this is you've kind of got a situation where FaZe, like, even the maps that they won recently were tight maps versus Sentinels and Cloud9 who didn't even make it to playoffs.
Bro, what a great counter fault line timing there from Ethan.
Yep.
But a great catch from Dicey on the Psalm through the link. Spike will get planted. Owl Drone gets some detection on Dicey, but he can just teleport out of there. Smokes come up to block Texas angle. Yeah, that's very true.
Oh boy, this is the round.
No idea.
Oh, and they use the Astral Divide right as the kills come through. That's tough timing for NRG.
Yeah.
You're hoping to just overwhelm. FaZe was ready for the Cosmic Divide. One lurker, all it needed to happen to get the win. And Hayes is just looking to survive. Not that money's going to be too much of an issue, but my goodness.
Yeah, that
great
late Frank was
coming out of Poise.
Haven't really seen that come into play yet. Granted, they haven't really been able to use it because they just are losing the skirmishes on site before they could really comfortably settle into a post-plant maneuver like that. But lo and behold, they get the job done. Only lose Poise along the way, so almost a flawless there, which is desperately needed because they cannot afford a whole lot of rebuying right now with the economy the way that it is, and considering how many rounds they need to scrap together to at least be competitive this half.
Yeah. Well, good stuff from FaZe. I'm at the point where convincing halves essentially mean nothing. It's just because of the way the playoffs have gone, and then obviously what we got in map number 1. But
yeah.
It's the thing about it is, if you're FaZe, do you really feel comfortable enough just finding wins in the middle of the map? I mean, you have to feel like you've got to get some plays going on the exteriors. And Baby Bay once again going to be fault lined as he gets over the initial threshold from A lobby. Utility from NRG trying to keep him at bay, but
that's a lot spent. I mean, they spent Boombot, Owl Drone, Fault Line, that's
Recon Bowl, paint shells.
There's a star, but hey, eventually BBA falls. I mean, it might have taken a lot, but it does get done. Aftershock comes out, the flush out somebody hits him with the rocket launcher, and it doesn't matter as EU eradicates the remaining members, and it's all on Dicey. And that's a great kill on Hayes and all, but the Spike's way on the other side, and you're alone in a 1v3.
Maybe we just got the answer to the question that I was hypothetically throwing out there.
Is it
You know,
like
when it
how
comes
many
to
licks
FaZe-
to the center of a Tootsie Pop? How many utility does it take to kill Baby Bay at long? All of it.
Yeah. Whatever it takes, though. That's that's the thing about it is NRG are very cognitively saying you are not going to get the outside lanes of this map.
That's huge, man.
Doesn't matter the cost, and that's going to be a huge problem for FaZe in these last couple of rounds of the half. It has to be.
And that's the big thing that you want when you're playing, this double initiator comp with a Neon. You want that space early. That's what this is built for.
Absolutely.
And they're not getting
yes,
it, dude. NRG's done such a great job contesting long A. They've done such a good job contesting that site, period, at any stage of the round. What a night and day performance compared to Icebox here from NRG. And granted, they even had the comeback kind of built up. I think that has to help, surely. Like, not getting swatted at Matt, actually fighting back, coming close. Made you feel like you could go toe-to-toe with him a little bit. Either way, no matter what the psyche is here, they're now up 8-1.
Wow. This, when it comes down to when we've watched over FaZe in the past, as the two of us, let alone as a community kind of watching over North America, I feel like a lot of people look at FaZe and say, if Baby Bay is successful, this team wins. Just especially considering their quote-unquote mantra of this kind of schmeeg energy, so to speak. But on the opposite side, so many teams that have been able to beat this FaZe squad, even when they're at their strongest, it usually comes with the storyline of Baby Bay's finding very limited amounts of success, whether that's in the kill death department, which is the easy stat to go off of, or just in creating openings. There have been 0 openings for FaZe outside of the one round that they won.
And again, this is the team that's led first kill percentage for the entirety of the stage with groups and playoffs combined. But they're getting no openings. It's EU with Hunter's Fury connects on the fly. It's one initiator down, less utility to support a push, already off the table. EU now clearing out Sewer's position here. Doesn't get a whole lot of intel, but they have a pretty good idea still.
It's just the mind games that NRG are throwing right now. Once again, it's a round opening where Ethan doesn't throw any utility, and FaZe are waiting for it at the backside A lobby. It is a Hunter's Fury that comes out of nowhere. Not going to be deterred, though. FaZe pushing forward. Are there going to be more of these Heaven smoke kills for EU?
Oh, my God.
Well, the shock dart nearly gets done. It actually stops the plant completely.
Oh my God.
Repositioning, it doesn't matter.
He's done it again.
Someone put a leash on this kid.
It's just every round, dude. Just every time. As Superman will collect the spike, he puts it back down, but they're in a 3 versus 5, making this hold a lot more difficult. As we are seeing Baby Bay try to play something a little bit risky up close to try to see if he can grab a couple and get away and try to even things up, but he's found a little bit of a gap here.
Thing about it is the aftershock does connect. Oh, but it may not matter. Down to a 2v2. Baby Bay in a critical health situation with only 5 ammunition. Misses out on the first. Dicey now to the headhunter after the first shot connects, and he's able to clutch things up. FaZe Clan get to 2.
Oh,
still, a long way to go.
FaZe's dynamic duo having a brief hint of brilliance after a tough start to the half. Both of them come together there to win what was essentially a 2 versus 4. As Baby Bay was able to get a couple up close and get away, Dicey catches the fallback. As there was a heaven swing to try to grab Baby Bay, Dicey doesn't allow it, and then they come together to finish there in the end. And that might be the spark that FaZe needs to dump some fuel on. Try to see if they can get this half still under contest after falling well behind. Here comes that fault line again.
Another different look.
Counter fault line, though, to push Tex out. This is what they didn't have before,
Yep.
I feel like.
Yep. Absolutely. Tex is still going to push into this. Through the flash. Oh, that was greedy. And he gets punished. But Ethan now spamming through, trying to stop FaZe at the door, but the Seekers will once again reclaim space. Paint shells over the top. Good
They
God,
cannot
bro.
survive to a spike zone. They just can't.
No.
They keep losing someone here. Now Rolling Thunder comes in. Spike still not down. Sam gets forward. Flash is coming through, though, to slow him down. Baby Bay pulls out the ult to crush him. 4-on-2.
Okay. FaZe able to fight back in some regard, but NRG still want to keep the pressure on it. Hayes actually gets around the back. Trade comes out, and EU not quite able to get to topside heaven in time. Would have to win a key 1v1 versus Dicey. Survives it for now, but is a little bit stuck. More shock dart antics? Sure, why not? Supa in immediate threat of this. Recon Bolt has been recharged. And no, not going to be bothering this time around. FaZe 2 in a row. Get to 8-3.
Yeah, you started to worry a little bit when NRG get that frag with the paint shell. They pull on the push in off the Rolling Thunder. You think this could be a problem, but then Sam get stunned right back before he can really get ground on sight and start pushing FaZe off. And FaZe get it done in the end, but a labored way to get it. And you feel like FaZe need this one, and they need Pistol to keep the 2-0 dream alive.
Yeah, they've got the ability here with a bit of a financial advantage to have some weaponry to kind of work with.
Oh, Dicey smells this.
Yeah, sure does. He may have actually even seen his shoulder.
Yeah, you could see what FaZe were trying to do. They were trying to feint the A play like they've been doing every single time, and they're trying to see if maybe it would give Dicey a play. But Tex just holds a safe angle, and so Dicey can't really push just yet. Oh, catches a big timing there, though, on the fallback.
Yeah. Hayes in trouble now all of a sudden. The paranoia actually keeps EU out of the play, forcing Hayes to have to go isolated into a 1v many. Not going to work out whatsoever. And what is left for NRG to try to get this retake going? No ultimates on the table. Actually, very limited amounts of utility either. Ethan's going to hit the fault line. Baby Bay holding close. Oh, boy. It's just, nope, not this time. And looking good for 3 in a row. To close out this half would be FaZe, and so it will be. Decent recovery, all things told here, Dust, but it's an 8-4 half nonetheless. We'll send it to the halftime break and reconsider when we come back after the 2 minute. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. We're starting off with a small technical pause here as we're getting everyone ready to go. A couple of TeamSpeak problems apparently on one side, but regardless of that, FaZe, after what was kind of the same problems on setting up post plans or even getting the plant in the first place from Icebox into Haven, they recovered nicely, and now they go over to defense. And Dust, it's a lot of numbers for both of these two teams, I think, when it comes to each side respectively.
Yeah, I mean, the defense for FaZe has definitely been their bread and butter this map. 65% win rate on the year defensively, but I want to hyper-focus in, you know, in April, since they picked up Superman and Poise. 9 defensive rounds against Sentinels in the open qualifiers, 9 against TSM, got 7 in the group stage against Cloud9. So they've put up, you know, multiple solid defensive performances on this map to secure some wins in this 4-game winning streak that they've had throughout the course of April and May. So that does bode well for them. I think another thing that bodes well for them is Dicey coming back online. The man was 0-7. Look at him now, 8-7. What a recovery in those last few rounds to start having some big impact. Poise continues his fine form. Again, we talked about the supporting cast of FaZe showing up in playoffs. Superman obviously had a huge map on Icebox. Now you got Poise teeing off on Sky. You know, normally it's been the KO where he's really made his presence known, fragging-wise throughout these last, you know, few matches that they've played in the lower bracket, but, you know, getting it done in some key moments on Sky now as well. Baby Bay starting to find a little bit of rhythm as well at 7. So everything's starting to kind of come back online for them, but they need this pistol, and they still have a lot of room to recover.
The pistol round, I think, is more important than just the obviously implication of you get the pistol round, you get not only one round win, but you assume you get a second, and then you can set yourself up for hopefully financial advantages. But I think it's just the simple fact that this has been, through the group stage, the best pistol team in North America. And that has been missing in some regard to what we've seen so far in playoffs. Is that a full-on win or loss condition? Not necessarily, but in moments like this, it becomes incrementally more important just due to the fact that you're looking at not just a 1-round bounce, but likely a 2-round bounce back where you would love to be down 2 rather than be down 4.
Yeah. Again, I just think it's going to come down as well to some of these first bloods. Like we saw Tex lighting it up on Icebox and at several moments on this one as well. But this is a chance for Dicey defensively to really flex that chamber and start trying to get himself back up to where we know he can be in those first kill situations, which he and Baby Bay are so good at. A lot of this FaZe's success is built off of them being able to get those early advantages. And I mean, this is one of those maps where you certainly can get aggressive on the edges of the map, certainly can get aggressive at Garage. And there's a lot of different things you can do in FaZe Thrive. And again, NRG likes to play that slower spread default style of play, and Haven is certainly a map where you can definitely do a lot of that. You know, kind of take your time, kind of methodically take map control. And so this is where FaZe can try to be disruptive in the early round with their aggression, try to see if they can unsettle that default.
Well, the early guiding light through C long is going to get not just Baby Bay forward, but Poise is going to work with him, with the Trailblazer as well.
They're going all the way
Smoke
in,
with the dark cover will try to block off B and make life a little bit more difficult, but Tex is happy to plant.
Look at this position from Hayes. He's aware of this possibility. Yeah. He is ready for it.
Absolutely. Oh, my. Read like a book. And now FaZe is in a terrible position trying to retake because there's no one on site. They're not going to know this. You still have to clear site out completely. The pinch coming around the back to the flank essentially needs to be key, and it's just not going to work out. Not going to work out at all.
Dude, Hayes read that
and now
flank,
you've all of a
like,
sudden
required reading summer list from school.
Yeah. And FaZe are now stuck on site. I mean, this is just shoulders from multiple angles. Gravity well and paint shells was only the first part of the problem. The shock dart continues to be a second part, and it's a Prime Gaming flawless pistol. And that is now 4 out of 4 pistols for NRG.
Yeah, they have been on one in that regard. Again, we talked about how FaZe had a very massive improvement on their pistol round conversion between groups and playoffs, but it has not shown up today in this match. NRG reigning supreme in that regard. Again, they just were primed to catch this with their post-plant positioning here. Never had a chance, FaZe. As it is the Flawless coming through there to kick things off in this half, looking to keep that big lead building. Not much of a force up this time from FaZe. Just a shorty for Poise, maybe some a Sheriff for Flya. Can't afford to.
No. Spend here and you lose. You're looking at 12-4 probably.
Yeah, it's over, pretty much.
Yeah. Would love to at least keep this round close, though, if you're FaZe. Maybe sneak out a Thrifty. They were good in the group stage when it came from playing from a disadvantage.
You just got to hope the
there's some
shorties do
life to be
something.
found here.
That's all you can
Yeah,
really
that's
do.
pretty much it, right?
And it's kind of a dice roll where you position them if they're even going to be able to come into play.
Right there.
Hey, you talked about that methodical and
Yep.
slow play style for NRG. Just don't give away any information early.
That's been a big their big success route has been in their boot camp how polished they've made this default become. Like it has been so good as far as just not having any real gaps to exploit, being able to come together on the right timings to trade in and make good use of utility. Like they have kind of found their identity, I think, as a team, like this being their foundation. They can throw in the pacing changes. In fact, they often do start slow in a half and then bring the pacing changes later on, like, you know, when they're 5 or 6 rounds deep, if they even get there in this case. But that's been kind of the trend, I feel like, is they kind of condition you early with something slow, then they hit you hard and fast later.
Oh, but this is a good setup for FaZe. They already got the full defense rotated off of A, and you've got shorties in good positions with this dark cover to possibly challenge the plant, which you're running out of time with. FaZe, they get maybe enough. The spike carrier goes down. EU, the last one left with 6 bullets, and not enough time to even pick up the spike and plant.
Boy.
Oh no, what's happening?
Oh, that's a big one, too. You get a couple of free Vandals. You get a round. A little Spectre there for Poised. And, yeah, it's just energy a little bit too slow. They're waiting for pushes. They're waiting for gimmicks. You know, obviously that's something you have to anticipate happening in a round like this. When you're FaZe, you kind of have to roll the dice, and energy knows that. So they're trying to, you know, be cautious, not give away anything. But as they come into C, they ran right into those shorties, and then the clock became their enemy. And I have noticed that in some of Energy's matches. While they have been winning and they've been looking good, there's definitely been several rounds that have been, you know, pretty tight. You know, last 10 seconds, kind of close, but that's a great opening from Tex, at least, for Energy here.
It's an incredible opening. Dicey falling means that you have to worry about this. And oh, Tex misses out on the 50-second kill. FaZe looking at Baby Bay to try to hold off Lobby. Only takes down 1. That'll be a Spectre collected. We go to a 4v3.
Love this
Numbers
call.
advantage with NRG.
Love this call. I mean, they know that Baby Bay saw a ton of people at A lobby, and he's going to call for a big rotation A side, which is what Fly is doing right now at that Vandal. But now they've cut noise. They've thrown some sense of doubt into FaZe's rotations. They're looking to just get the most they can out of this 4-on-3 advantage by just kind of making sure they're not getting pushed out middle of garage, making sure they still have A lobby control, but not overplaying their hand here. They're forcing the defense to spread out. This is going to give them a huge advantage, even with low firepower, on man count once they commit.
Look at Fly's position, though. He's already snuck up in towards C-Long Cubby. If this hit comes over towards B, there will be no post-plant through window this time around.
Yeah, they've also pushed
NRG are
their
going
A
to
lobby.
have to hold from sight. Yeah,
Poise
they're
has
going to
come
have
through.
to hold from insight.
Yep. But they also have the links. That's the big thing. If they detect that they're being flanked, they can at least play the link areas, and that kind of allows them to get away from mid being a problem.
Oh, no.
Oh, that works too.
A huge missed chance for Poised. Flya picks up. So much utility to play with. Aftershock should clear out Ethan. Super gets 1 off the cross, and now it's down to just Sam, who does have a rifle to play with. Not a lot of health, though. Avoids the first flash, gets stuck by the paranoia, sees the shadow in the near-sighted net!
No way!
Oh! Sam for a double! And a 1v2 Red Bull clutch!
Oh my goodness, man. Sam dodging and weaving, hits by the paranoia, but still just catches Flya as he comes in. He's just on the edge of this. Look at this. Right near the brink of being not spotted. If he would have been a little more outside, Sam doesn't see him. Oh my. Also was
What a
past the
wake-up map for
flash.
Sam.
Yeah. Everyone double digits for NRG right now, by the way. Definitely getting a good overall team performance with elimination on the line. Couldn't have come at a better time.
Early rolling thunder again. FaZe looking to get into A lobby, this time with 2 different members, but there's a boom bot to cover the retreat.
Maybe they wasn't
And
there
also
quite
Gravity
fast
Well.
enough, I feel like, to
No.
capitalize on that. I think the timing was just a tad off. I think, you know, it had potential to catch a kill or two in A lobby, but I feel like maybe it wasn't quite ready to push in yet. And so they kind of missed a chance there.
It's hard to say that even if he was forward that he was going to get a kill because NRG were so far back.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this kind of labored approach, so to speak, has been working out really well for NRG in this offense. Now, show of force in towards B, but the spike is not here. Super does well to clean up the first, but
Well, this time
around the Rosie with Hazed. Poised, watching over towards A long. Flash comes out, but EU not affected by it. Baby Bay will see that there are a couple of members nearby, and meanwhile,
Hayes
off
won the
screen,
fight in B.
Hayes does win that 1v1 inside of B.
Yeah, that's big. Spike now will come back around. There's a chance, though, for Dicey flanking through C-side to maybe still get behind them as the Spike comes into B.
seconds left.
In the meantime, though, this link area getting claimed by FaZe, but Hayes is ready for it. Doesn't get stunned. They ran right by him.
Hayes!
Enemy remaining.
No one even checks the corner?
You hate to see it.
Spike planted.
Or you love to see it. Depends on who you're a fan of, I guess.
That's fair. So now Dicey is 1v3 operator in hand, and you're running out of rounds. So do you feel obligated to give this the good old college try? A little heave-ho here. Sees the barrel of one. EU is not watching this. That's a free kill. Does he sneak into the cubby in time to sneak away from EU? No. NRG on 11, and FaZe are going to be with some thin pockets in this next round, 17.
Yeah, I mean, it was initially a pretty cool kill from Superman, but then Hayes just tucks in. They have no idea. Don't pay it any mind. It's the stone left unturned, which is where the snake was hiding the whole time. And it struck. FaZe now just a couple of shares and a Spectre.
That's a good spot.
NRG nearing map point. Chance to force the third.
That works.
Oh boy.
Indeed.
That's all that needs to be said, really.
Yep.
Poise is going to try to sneak forward. He has been tagged, but he still gets the ground that he wants. Dicey getting jiggled over through lobby. Gravity Well will clear the space. And in the same moment, NRG are actually showing a little bit more opening force than we've seen normally. Aldrone towards C will keep FaZe a bit
Yeah, I feel like
under kind of blanket here.
I feel like they learned from the last Thrifty, where they gave up a little too much space and they ran out of time. And they got a little bit taxed because of it. This time, they're really kind of making sure they have everything covered. Ethan will catch Dicey there inside sewer side. So I like the adjustment from NRG to still keep that default that you're comfortable with that's been working for you, but
Sure.
to make sure you get a little bit more forward with it early.
Well, Poised getting aggressive through mid is going to amount to essentially absolutely nothing. Unless Tex somehow falls here and that trademark gets cleared, because otherwise he's just going to have to re-wrap back in towards Garage. The other two FaZe defenders are still at A. Good information here from Flya! Good double comes through. Can he get a third? No.
30 seconds
Sam able to at least secure the trade, and with that, it'll get NRG in, but Poised actually does kind of cut off the backside rotation, so now you can do a little bit of shopping here in the backside. Seekers have been earned, and this is actually going to have to be dealt with by Ethan, who's going to get affected, you have to imagine, by the Trailblazer.
Great
No, actually
paranoia
doesn't.
timing. It stops
Yeah.
them from being able to punish with those Seekers and that Trailblazer, but Superman gets the frag nonetheless, but Sam pulls out the Showstopper. Doesn't land.
No. Two from his left, one from his right. Fast lane will now throw a bit of mystery into where these FaZe retakes have come through. First one good from Sam. Oh boy, he's done it before! Almost does it again! Holy!
Oh man, that'll get the old glutes tight. That's what that'll do. But Baby Bay does come out on top in the end. That's going to put it 11-6. So FaZe coming up with a couple of ecos to keep them alive. I mean, have they won a full gun round yet defensively?
I don't.
Maybe
I don't
one.
Think so.
I know they've certainly won 2 thrifties. I mean, yeah, that's the only 2 rounds they've had on defense because it was 8-4 at the half.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Yep.
Talk about taking it on hard mode.
Dicey stunned up, gets the shoulder, wants the peek still. Eventually gets dissuaded. At least a touch. Second flash comes in. That will for sure clear the angle. And NRG are actually going to, kind of uncharacteristically speaking, get aggressive. Cosmic Divide will block off Heaven.
I would say this is about the point in the half that NRG will pick up the pace usually on attack. And they're coming out swinging for sure on the point. But Baby Bay pulls out the ult to come it right back.
Oh my god. How has this happened? For a second, Dicey nearly gave up his life, but he gets underneath Heaven, and the operator's also able to help out Baby Bay off of his double. Eventually gets traded through. Hayes defected by the stun. And everyone knows that Hayes is back here somewhere. Spam away.
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot he could do there. As again, NRG is a team that likes to play slower defaults early in the half, but once they kind of establish themselves, then they start throwing in the pacing changes. That's been kind of the trend, I feel like, with some of their attacking sides throughout playoffs, and I think it works really well because you condition your opponent to a certain pace, and then you pull out the sheet a little bit later and try to catch them off guard. And this is obviously a map where you can run those fast-paced attacks because the map is so big and defenses are usually kind of having to guess where they want to commit resources early, and sometimes you can just find the opening. But, I mean, I have to say, huge play from Baby Bay there to shut down the attack because FaZe, they thrive in those chaotic moments. That's what they feel like they are more efficient in, and you saw it there.
And that was a reactive call, by the way, to pull the overdrive. That wasn't from minute 1 of this last round. So even more just credit towards the decision-making of Baby Bay in the thick of it. NRG down to a couple of pistols, Guardian, Marshall, and a Vandal for Som. A couple of ults to play with, though, Rolling Thunder and Hunter's Fury in particular. Leads to maybe an opportunity, and Tex is in a really good spot to stop maybe some rotations through C, so maybe a chance to isolate here.
Yeah, I mean, Fly keeping tabs on this right now. Will win the fight. His teammate watching along with the operator. Drive peek up long, gets caught here by Superman. To really pull out anything here. Good flashes from Boys to push all the way down, but Ethan catches him. Oh, Baby Bay.
Boy, for a second.
Rein it in. Rein it in. You got a 4-on-2. It's all good. Spike down.
Dicey's got the corner, or does he? Fly there to follow up. They know where EU's at. There we go. The staple Baby Bay slide 360. Not quite the world star that I think he was hoping for, but hey, we'll still give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, needed to simmer down there, and they do just at the right time. Got a little bit worrisome. And Baby Bay would have got caught there. But here you have it. FaZe fighting back to within 3. NRG will get economy back here, so they will be able to full buy, make a push for map point, try to slow this momentum down from FaZe as they have won the last 3 in a row. Yeah. Finally winning some, full-on rounds after requiring 2 thrifties prior to that. And honestly, they haven't let this half get too out of control either, though. I mean, NRG's only had a 2-round streak. They haven't really got firing. And again, this is the half where FaZe get most of their work done usually. And now they're starting to fire on all cylinders. You're starting to see everyone on their team in double digits. So, I mean, they're catching form right when they need to keep the 2-0 dream alive. But can they push it all the way?
And how about just a small difference maker in each of the round 2s of either half? FaZe forcing in the first half doesn't work out for them. It leads to 7 in a row for NRG. And then this time around, they don't force, but they get the pistol win against the superior firepower of NRG, and it turns into their ability to kind of turn the eco into their favor eventually. So, I don't know. Could be things to look at as far as potential difference makers when this is all said and done, written in the books. But for this round coming up, a key one when it comes to FaZe trying to bring this back to level terms. Full weaponry with just 1 light armor for NRG coming into round 20.
Yeah, Rolling Thunder available for Ethan as well as Hunter's Fury. Some big tools to pave a way forward onto a site. Som trying to satchel out to get that quick, long A control. Smoke to block off Dicey's sniper. Just kind of feinting it, though. Just keeping the defense
Yeah.
interested in, but now the Owl Drone comes out to clear B, so I like this multi-prong pressure from NRG early.
Oh, the Flash is going to see so much.
Yeah, at least gets an idea that they're starting to press up. Now those smokes come down. Now it's confirmed. Looks like they're going to save the Rolling Thunder 100 for retake.
Yeah. Okay, wow. That's a double prong play for NRG because they had the ability of rendezvousing away if the Rolling Thunder was used early, trying to bait it out, but it's not going to happen. Fly is still in a position to try to earn and make their play forward. Oh, not going to work out. Sam in the corner. Good for one. Boy's trying to trade back, but he doesn't get the double. And it's just down to Supa and Dicey. 2v4, tough post plant to break through with this situation, and they value the weapons instead of the round.
Yeah, Ethan does spin the Rolling Thunder, but Hunter's Fury still in tow for EU next round to maybe put the finishing touches on this one. And, I mean, NRG just got B so clean. It's the first time we've seen them hit B that fast, and again, that goes to their game plan of establishing themselves with the default early, then throwing the curveballs later in the half that FaZe just aren't ready for. And they can be so quick after that initial long A pressure. I mean, when you're feeling Som coming that quick at you at A, you're feeling, oh, they're probably taking sewers, they're, you know, setting up perhaps for an A take, and all the while, you come off it immediately, drone your way into B, and it's pretty much a done deal. Like, FaZe couldn't do anything about it, and they could never really get the retake going. Maybe they got caught so quick when he came out Garage.
I want to give major shout-outs to our stats guy, the backside. Weltis just hit us with a first kills for Baby Bay this map. 1 in 6.
Not what you expect from him, considering his numbers throughout the stage. Normally in the
considering
top
the character
5
he's
and almost
playing,
all
too.
fast the characters. Yeah, exactly.
There.
Here come NRG over towards lobby. Dicey will be affected by the fault line, but holds his ground inside of the Nebula. Boombot to clear through sewer. And NRG look like they're going to give this at least maybe a peek from Tex's perspective. He's got the ability to bounce back if needed. Aldron's going to be pushed over towards B again. FaZe are feeling pretty comfortable with this setup at the moment. This is the same setup for NRG trying to get on through. Relay Bolt will get a little bit of a stun on the Sun. He's not going to be able to do too much. At least not initially. Late shot comes through with the rocket. It will miss. And Superman through sewer did, in fact, take down Tex on that aggressive peek.
I feel like this is an attempt maybe at threatening B link to A to maybe set up an A split, but FaZe busted it. And now NRG are having to pivot mid-round. They know that they have control of B slides, so they'll swing everyone back over, including Spike. Som taking into A link. That's a big piece of real estate to have. It means that they're not funneled to middle post plant. They have other routes to play from. And that's a great Hunter's Fury. They let Som get even more forward. Yes, that's huge.
And you get the information. Now the defensive Rolling Thunder coming from the opposite side is working out nicely for FaZe. This is clinical as you'd like in the post plant. Now down to 2 members. No tools really to use outside of one shock dart and a gravity well. But oh my goodness, it hit so hard! It sucked in 3 different people! And now it's down just to Dicey. 1v2, not going to happen. And just as much as map 1 was FaZe finishing off the FaZe way, how much is that NRG finishing off map 2 in their own way?
Bruh, you were liking FaZe's chances at the retake there for a bit. Even though Som got into A link, the utility was coming in, the frags were flying in their favor, and then all of a sudden, 1 gravity well and some paint shells and some bullets later, and it's all she wrote. We're going to map 3. Wow. What a series, man.
What is happening, dude?
I mean,
what is happening in this
considering
series?
where we're at in both maps, you know, you're starting to think it's going to be a landslide. Then it gets spicy right there in the middle, but both teams find success at one point or another, and it's all going to come down to a third map. Who stays here? Who makes it to Copenhagen? Or at least has a chance at it tomorrow against Exit, I should say. Yeah, so someone's tournament life's about to end, but, you know, at least they battled their way to a third map before it finished.
Wow. I'm curious to see what antics and comedy the desk have in store after that second map. They don't have much time to plan for it. We'll send over to a break, and we'll see what they've got up their sleeves as we get ready for map number 3. Don't go anywhere.
And we're all knotted up, folks. Going to game 3 as NRG walk away with the win. Golden Boy here alongside Mimi and Valen as we break things down. And, you know, I have to say, man, it's very clear that this is a series that none of us know what the heck is going on, because I feel like NRG, they really cleaned up their act, Valen, in that first game. It felt like they were struggling to gain momentum. It felt like they were struggling to kind of take the fight to FaZe, because FaZe, they like taking the fight to their opponent, but it was very clear here that NRG, they tweaked some things for game 2.
Yeah, I've been in some of those situations myself with my team. You know, you come out map 1 kind of slow. You don't really have the confidence going, but they fixed that for map 2 for sure. I mean, NRG started super hot. I believe they were up 7-0, and they were getting in FaZe's face. They were not giving BabyBay any space. This is one of the first teams I've seen actually stop FaZe's A default. Most of the time, FaZe is getting a lot of space and a lot of entries at A, but NRG completely shut that down, and it's because they upped their confidence for sure. I mean, I believe they put down BabyBay 4 times, and that just shows, like, you know, Sam was getting in their face, Tex was taking aggressive angles. They were not giving FaZe anything for free.
Yeah, I mean, BabyBay really struggled maybe to like get anything going in that game. And you know, and we keep saying it, we don't want to like throw everything on BabyBay, but you know, when your star player, when the Smeeg himself gets shut down, you kind of have to point it out.
So I wanna frame this less as BabyBay was doing bad, and more as, first off, NRG was doing really well to counter, and some of the supportive utility wasn't quite there for BabyBay in the moments that it was absolutely needed. That round is a great example, right? You see the ideas there for FaZe. They stun towards long. Tex just tucks in. He peeks out after the stun hits, manages to get the kill. Another one. He's waiting inside of the stun before it even comes through. This one, a gravity well comes on directly where BabyBay is. NRG just had these preset ideas of how to shut down this Neon. They know, like you were saying, how important getting that A lobby control is for FaZe, because pretty much every round they are running that A lobby default. They are looking to get space there. That's how pretty much every Neon team plays this map. NRG didn't let that happen, and that is the win condition when you play against FaZe. You cannot let them set up the way they want to.
Yeah, also NRG starting super hot. That starts the pistol round, right? I believe they upped their pistol win percentage from 35% in groups to 56% now in playoffs. And in this series, they won all 4 pistols in the series. There's no surprise why NRG's keeping the series close and why they took map 2.
Yeah, even in that first game, they managed to win the pistol there. Kind of crazy how that whole thing worked out. But shifting to focus over, though, to the second half, right? Also, NRG, they were doing the thing that, like, you know, we had praised Xset for, right? Great post-plant execution. NRG were doing the same thing here. It was clear, again, the homework was done. Very studious of them to do that between games 1 and 2. It felt like a completely different team.
Yeah, not only was the confidence there in the first half, but once we got in towards the second, that totally stayed true for NRG. A couple of these rounds where they managed to plant over towards B, once they got the spike down, their post plants were just so good. Hazed on the Aster is such a good role for him. You have Sam with utility, you have Ethan with utility. They're just throwing everything at FaZe, and they really struggled in those retakes. And it's not just the utility was good, it was again that in the early round, BabyBay was getting shut down, meaning they didn't have that Neon in so many rounds to be able to force in for those retakes.
Yeah, I think the reason why BabyBay's getting shut down so much is because he was NRG was starting in an area and they were trying to bait out utility and they would slow down.
Yeah.
And they knew that FaZe wanted to repush an area, fight for control, and they held and they were expecting it. So a lot of times we saw FaZe trying to repush an area or take map control back, and NRG was ready and they shut it down.
And you see, that one is so cool. Like, I think FaZe fundamentally have the right idea. They have a player to block, so the grapple, fun little tip. I think most people know this by now, but if you stand next to your teammate, you can block them from getting pulled off the spike if you do it right. But there's just a shock dart there. There's layers to this utility so that even one fails, NRG have another step available that speaks to their preparation and also to their adaptability to come back from a rough start, rally in the series, and take maps.
Yeah, well, now we're going to be looking forward to our third and final game of the day as we get ready for Agent Select in a moment here. We'll still continue to discuss, you know, what is to come. I believe we're going to be going to Ascent for Game 3 here. Again, lots of question marks, Valen, but, you know, we kind of find ourselves in a unique position. It feels like teams are kind of struggling to be able to win their map picks. Why do you think that is?
I mean, I think teams struggle to win their map picks because going into your map pick, you feel like you have a lot of pressure to win that if you want to win the series. So I think you kind of go into it a little timid, like, oh, we got to play this perfect. Oh, this has to go right. You kind of overthink the game plan. And when you're on the other team's map pick, it's like your guard's a little down. It's like, all right, boys, let's play our game. Like, let's be smooth. Let's just go out there and have fun. And I think that's a big reason why.
And I think beyond that as well, a lot of teams have, I think a lot of teams in North America have pretty slim map pools. Lots of people with a permaban, you can kind of expect what you get, especially in a series like this where both teams have that dedicated perma. You can pretty much know where your opponent is going to go. have little extra time with your coach, with your IGL, to strat out those ideas, to come in prepared for the match, versus when you go to your map pick, sometimes you're going in a little bit blind. Combination of a lot of factors, but definitely holding true in this
Yeah,
case.
it's just been so fascinating to watch, and of course, getting the insight from Valen as well has helped us all out, quite a bit here. And I'm just stoked for this next game. Agent Select is good to go, so let's whip that bad boy up and get right into the action here, because I know everyone at home wants to jump into it as well. And it is going to be Ascent for Game 3. Let's see what we're going to get locked right out of the gate here. But do we expect any curveballs right now, Mimi?
So my biggest question, does NRG go with the Raze or with the Sage? They played Sage last week on this map, and it was cool. Sure, they got some rounds. They won that match. I'm not a fan of it. I think on their defensive side, they were using the rounds early, so if a team who slows down, defaults, they can just wait for that. I think the Fade Raze has so much potency, but they go back to it. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm a big fan of Fade Raze combo, so I'm always going to be in favor of that, but I think it did work for them with the Sage. It lets Sam have kind of a new, different agent. It lets him op if he wants to, gives more options.
Yeah, for sure. Also, from personal experience, I feel like when you are running a Sage, the other team is forced to play way different. They have to slow the game down. They have to break the wall. They have to bait out slows, or else you're going into a hit where you're possibly getting KO-nated, Omen flashed, and slowed. You just can't get out the choke point.
And I think my concern with that as well is that they will be running the, wait a minute, the Baby Bay KO? Wait a minute, I'm looking at that one right. We're getting the Baby Bay KO.
I was waiting for someone to notice
This is a crazy one. I was like, I don't know what these guys were doing, but they do go to that composition, which is a really interesting one. I love the Dicey Chamber. I'm excited to see what Baby Bay pulls out on this agent. This one's going to be exciting.
All right, real quick before we jump in, who's winning? Who's playing Xset tomorrow? Go, Mimi.
NRG.
NRG, baby.
NRG. It's not phase up, and it's phase down for the analyst desk. I had to do that one, boomer reference, but let's go ahead and bring up our casters here, because we got Dust as well as Shift on the call. Fellas, have some fun with this one, because it's going to be a good one.
Are they phasing up or down?
Well,
phasing up?
I don't know.
I phase sideways when I phase.
I want to know this, bro. Baby Bay, 226 games on Jet. Starting to pick up the Neons. Played it 14 games now throughout this stage. First time I've ever seen the man on a KO.
Yep. I mean, here's the thing. This is obviously very different for FaZe, but last time we even saw them play this map, Jet was still in the meta.
Facts. It is facts. They
So,
have not played this map since, early May. And that was a loss to Optic.
Yeah, week 1.
Yeah, so, yeah, definitely interesting to see him on this agent.
And I love Valen's call about this Sage as well, forcing FaZe to have to play very differently on top of the comp they're already playing differently.
Look at that.
And not only that,
wrecked.
I know it doesn't even come through in any form. And all of a sudden, FaZe have had to spend so much just to get here. And the thing, too, just really quickly, is this is a different comp for NRG off of what they had just played in the lower bracket. So it's already a different look where FaZe's planning may go out the window because of this Sage pickup.
Yeah, they did play Sage against Evil Geniuses, but that was the only time they've ever
Oh, it was the
played
TSM
it.
match I was looking at.
Yeah,
Apologies.
they were playing raids back then, and obviously Sage was not a part of their comp too often throughout the year, but they played it one other time in a Nerd Street winner. So yeah, definitely a little bit different. No doubt about it. We're seeing Dicey try to take point here towards defensive spawn with this Headhunter, and
What a
it
shot.
lives up to its name, that's for sure. Right between you guys there, as they're going to start using that to pressure market into sight. Ethan reads it, but has to fall back and try to buy time for support, but it's still a ways out.
I mean, that's not bad, though. You still get text to pick up one. If Ethan can pick one, that'd be perfect. The spike was so late getting on that it hasn't even been planted yet. And NRG can actually use the clock as their biggest ally at the moment, trying to isolate Fly outside. Not going to quite work out. Finally jumping on in is Sam for the right click, and we go to a 2v2. Hazed on his way is going to clear out B main. And all the information will be known that the play from FaZe is going to be on site. And Supa is able to get the opener. So it's down to Hazed. 1v2. Both players are low. Superman in particular is in one-shot territory. But he's gotten around behind
They both
the play.
got off site. That's huge. He doesn't know if back's open or not. He has no idea if anyone's back
No
site.
clue. Our cover comes down. And that's not going to work out. Wow.
That was so smart from FaZe to play together on stairs, then come up, because they know what Hayes has to deal with. They know that he still has to clear the back. I mean, played the perfection there in the post plan from FaZe for sure. Fly as one kill was enough to buy time, to alleviate some pressure for the plant as well. And so FaZe kind of make the most out of what was initially a pretty tough situation when that tree hit towards A, kind of got slowed down by the barrier. Prowler didn't really make any progress and looked like they were in some trouble, but they get it done. is I'm curious at what tempo FaZe plays with when they don't have their normal entry on a duelist that can play fast-paced.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely the case.
Who am I kidding?
Car's going to come out. EU was tagged by the Haunt. Baby Bay already forward. You want to ask about what tempo they're going to play at? How about fast?
Shocker.
Seems to work out okay.
I, for
Did
one,
you expect
am
that? Do you have that on your bingo card?
Yeah, I mean, we know that KO can kind of be that duelist support hybrid kind of character.
Oh, God.
Sam was just...
Oh, God.
He was doing a triple Lutz while eating bullets. I don't know. I'm not a big figure skating expert. Not really on the resume. No.
I mean, it came off the cuff so quick. I thought
did.
you were like Tanya Harding's biggest fan. Or Michelle Kwan, if you're into that.
Dude, that's like literally the only figure skater I actually know is Michelle Kwan.
That's the only two that I know.
That's dating all the way back to. And then Tanya Harding, I only know her because of the movie.
Yep.
Either way, bonus.
There's
now
so
for
much
FaZe.
of the audience right now that's so confused.
Literally no idea what we're talking about at all. Not a hint. I guess that movie with Tanya Harding was kind of the biopic kind of thing. Anyway, bonus here for FaZe. Slow down though. The Prowler comes out.
Oh, Tex holds his ground though. Just for long enough, forces out a second flash. We'll get Fly a one off of Hunter's Fury, though, with still plenty of utility to try to clear extra space beyond B. Defensive Prowler to clear mid. Nothing's going to be really seen through that, as I think that doesn't even get through the smoke.
Yeah, FaZe getting a little bit of mid-presence here now as well with Dicey coming up towards Catwalk. Two players going to be here. He's able to get one and get away before any trade potential is going to be available there for Ethan. And they have, you know, pretty good coverage all across the map. Trademark still watching A flank. Dicey now there. Owldrome pressuring the B site while the spike swings out. I mean, this is really good for FaZe. There's some layers to this.
Really good.
This is like Smeeg goes to grad school. There's a thesis going on. There's a dissertation being formed. There's all kinds of stuff.
I'm picturing the cover art for that film.
What Smeeg with like a... I don't even know what he would be doing. I guess be in massive debt and still not have a job. I mean, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, it's fair. It's accurate. Post plant, though, coming through as FaZe will layer this largely from the safe side of the archway. Good look at the picture-in-picture as far as what's waiting for NRG if they do get on towards site. Flya also trying to cut off the rotation through tree. Gives away his position, though. Trigger discipline not going to be executed on. But it's just, how do you clear out these spaces right now? Especially now that you're revealed. You just don't. No time.
Man. FaZe getting something going here on this attacking side. Again, I was a bit curious about Ascent because, again, I've only seen them play it once in the last couple of months. Obviously, historically, not a bad map for them throughout the course of the year when they've had to play it in various qualifiers and smaller events, but still not the map you really know them for against elite competition. I mean, had kind of a trade of matches against TSM, beat Sentinels, but lost to Optic. You know, other than that, it's been a lot of smaller name teams, honestly. NRG, though, you know, in their own rights, only played it a couple of times with this lineup against TSM and EG, but won both those games throughout the stage between groups and playoffs. And so it's kind of making you wonder how things would play out, but so far so good here for FaZe, but now it's their first real test against the full buy, or mostly a full buy, a couple of SMGs to play.
Stacking up. And beyond Ethan trying to hold this. Paranoia from the back, though, will slow things down. Fragment to continue, and then the flash through, but Ethan can only chip away at a little bit of damage.
He saw
Has to back off as the null command for Baby Bay is going to lead towards an entry. Boys gets the opener. Baby Bay to follow, and Sam is just praying. A little spray and pray action through the door. Not going to work out. Door's going to shut on the play completely, and FaZe will have full entry with the plant, and you're also got Dicey watching the flank.
Yeah, this is pretty much sealed. Dicey can afford to just watch this 100% without ever looking away due to everyone else still being alive, and so Tech has no chance to catch the timing. And now Tree even getting pressured by this recon from Flya, gets the read, they'll swing out on Sam together. No chance for him to come away with anything there. And it's going to be a prime gaming flawless for FaZe. Honestly, when Ethan reads all they're there and NRG's making the heavy rotations, I'm thinking there's a chance they can either make a stand or set up for a retake. But how quick those entries came out for EU and Co.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that was such a brilliant combination of Fragment and Poise to spam. The generator's like the one spot, you know, you really have to worry about besides Under Heaven when you're coming in, and they had it covered with utility. This is awesome.
I think the thing that it really is, and the thing that's most, I think, just kind of impressive about it is it's not just the fact that it's obviously a very different type of composition than we're used to seeing from them, but they're still dissecting the site as good as you would anticipate. It's just without the same speed. You know, you don't have the fast lane to break it up. You're not using jet cloud dashes to get in. It's just you use the same utility ideas for Baby Bay. He just doesn't follow up off of his own utility. So I love the disciplined nature of Baby Bay kind of in this identity.
Yeah, it's a little more reserved, but still up tempo at the same time.
Exactly.
Oh.
Gotta have that.
Wah, wah. You hate to see it.
Yeah, you gotta have that.
That's really your only chance in a round like this to make something happen is to connect on that. Poise sends out the Prowler towards the door, spots one there, smoke up. Good utility here. Oh my god.
Oh god, dude. Just the C's as well, keeping him in place. It's just all perfect.
It really
and that's
is.
the thing, man. It's just, you know, as much as I think a lot of people are going to look at FaZe and say it's just you run at them, you catch them off guard, there's more of a science to their tempo than just run at people.
This is great utility usage.
This is unbelievable.
The
utility
triple
usage.
initiation in full-fledged mode. I mean, just a little sprinkle of Smeeg. Everything's going well.
Is that one of the flavors, that 31 flavors Baskin Robbins? Sprinkle of Smeeg?
I don't think so, actually. I don't think that made the cut.
All right. Send it to marketing.
I don't think that made the cut.
Okay.
There's probably some obscure...
Gotta have this one.
Like, something out there. Bro, 7 combined frags or energy, by the way, across 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Maybe they almost has it covered by himself.
Gotta have this round.
Yeah, this is a whole... We've seen a lot of hot starts today. We've seen a lot of scorchers. We've seen a lot of what looked to be a one-sided victory that turned into a recovery for the opposing side. We haven't seen an onslaught this bad, though. This is total domination from FaZe.
It's different, right? Because
it does
you're
hit
right. The rounds in a row, we've had this in every first half so far. But the thing about it is, like, as much as NRG were down in Icebox in map number 1 to a similar start, you have a situation, or pardon me, FaZe when they were down. No, I'm right. NRG when they were down. They were just messy in moments where you expect them to kind of utilize that team synergy. This is different because FaZe aren't even allowing NRG to put anything together. Not even a first corner piece of a puzzle at the moment.
Here's the buyback here from NRG. Like you said, need to make this one work. Tour de Force will be available for Tex. He's not found too many openings that we're used to seeing out of him so far defensively, but he hasn't really had a sniper to wield just yet. Maybe that could be the catalyst for turning the tides on this half. I mean, look at this. Look, I love that sky view. It shows how they layer the utility to get this quick mid control.
Oh man, this is
Look at
absolutely
this. Fragment as
dividing
well.
This is exactly how you want to divide it. Now you've got Flya trying to clear off the backside of the site just to get the tag. I don't believe he got the tag. Now it's full HP still for NRG. They're actually sustaining through this at the moment. The Cosmic Divide's going to fall here pretty shortly. You've got to get on site, and they're not 100% confident if there's anyone here or not, but Sam will fall. And the sheer numbers for FaZe will get him a plant, and likely they're going to have to bunker down here. They're not going to have an exit.
This retake is going to be tense here for NRG. Down a man. Having to use a sniper on one of their players in close quarters. Oh, there it goes. There it
And Dicey's watching the corner, plus a little extra. Hayes stuck inside a market. You had a haunt, you have a paranoia, but you needed a little bit more than just those two.
Bro.
And it looks like NRG are just going to give this up?
Yep.
Play for exits?
What do they have? They have not found an opening. And the clock is ticked away. Oh, I mean, right here at the end, they're starting to get some frags. But they just don't have any space still. And Poise will finish it off there. And you might as well throw FaZe on that Outback Steakhouse menu, bro. Because there are Bloomin' Onion. Layers upon layers of utility on these attacks. It's outrageous. Where's this come from?
How long were you sitting on that Bloomin' Onion?
I just came up with it about 5 seconds ago. I knew I wanted to do something with layers, and then onion came, and then Bloomin' Onion, and then Outback.
From Shrek, you know. Yeah, that's fair. Cakes have layers. Everyone loves cake.
Not all cakes have layers. All onions have layers.
Their fears betrayed them.
Don't fact check me on that, but I'm pretty confident. Pretty good. I mean, there's some cakes that don't have that many layers, really.
I was just trying to continue with the Shrek reference.
That's fine.
Okay. Paranoia after FaZe gets the first. That will contest some space in the backside. Or cover, fragment, NRG are going to push through this. And in a 5v4 situation, it's a little risky, but you hold this spot.
This is great.
You guarantee a lockdown. And now Poise is going to open up some threat over through mid.
Yeah.
If Poise could get through this, all of a sudden, FaZe is stuck.
Doesn't even have to go hard. He just needs to be here to maybe catch a rotation. But Hayes strikes before it can. Prowler lands, but Poise cancels it out pretty quick. Same with the Haunt, but Hayes is just teeing off. I mean, it doesn't matter what Poise is doing right now.
Backs into a corner. Wait a second.
Oh, he's been spotted.
That information was just seen. Yeah, sure has.
Oh, he's so scared of getting
Euse
pinched.
is going to keep dancing. Spike is making its way over through B main, but Poise is going to have to do something
I love
miraculous.
that
It's
for
not
me.
going
Holy
to happen.
Cow. That was beautifully done. Beautifully baited.
Super. Oh, boy.
Surely not.
This would be a 1v4. This would be a 1v4! What? And the ace? No. That's not the way that goes.
No. How has he done that? What a brilliant individual effort, but how has NRG not put the lid on that round? Hayes had a triple over at A side. They had nothing. Absolutely squat. And then Superman just does it all by himself with this spray transfer. Oh, NRG, man. How many hits can you take? You're already down 0-6, and then you lose that to an ace clutch? Oh, my God. I just don't know how you ever financially recover from that, mentally.
Yeah. Spiritually, emotionally.
It didn't quite
It's
work
just
the
all
way
of
I
the
wanted
things.
to. But just everything,
That's
yes.
all right.
How do you recover from that?
I don't know. You've got weapons in this round, but we said at 0-5 you had to win that 6th round.
I was just about to praise them, too, because Hayes did work.
Absolutely.
EU played so patient on the push from Poised with the double swing after he waited for a teammate to meet him up. I mean, they did everything right until Superman just took a massive dump all over. I mean, I don't know what else you want to say. Like, he crushed that, dude.
There's nothing else to say. Well, NRG's got B main control. Threat over the middle. As you've got Baby Bay at least initially through, looking to come back over towards Tree to join this, but Hayes is playing a very forward off angle, looking for more than just the first, but does get traded out. Null command coming through for Ethan on the defense as he backs now in towards side. Has to hold this ground. Needs to get at least one, and it's not going to happen. Nightfall's here just a little bit too late. So is EU.
That ult came to like, I mean, just out of time on getting that ult command out to have impacts. So it allows that Nightfall to come through.
Man, NRG are stuck.
Look at that C
in
shot.
more ways than one.
You're gonna get the res.
The thing is, you still have to have this round. You can't just give this one up. You're not even going to get out. Gravity Well's going to suck him into place. Poise now looking to tee off the low ground. Very wisely, FaZe just back up, say, you still have to come to us. Recon Bolt will be there. Easy read onto text, no problem. And, oh, man.
Then the fragment comes. Dude, this utility is so
good,
dude. It's just so good. Like, they threw so much at Heaven. There was no chance, even with the res energy, couldn't get space there. A little bit of an overextension taking the fight on the gravel. They lost a guy due to that, but who cares? They're up 8-0. There's still really no threat at losing the round. Bruh, this is wild. 17 combined kills right now for NRG across 8 rounds. Superman's only 4 behind that by himself. In fact, you give him any teammate and add it up, they got him beat. And the other 3 are just bonus. I mean, they're just crushing.
The thing is, like, not only is this utility play not something we typically attribute to FaZe, which is in itself surprising and shocking, but it's just when you think of FaZe on this map in the old comps using Jet, it's just Baby Bay has to tee off.
Yeah, flash and dash, baby.
And this is for more reasons than one. all of a sudden turning FaZe into a possible major contender against XSET.
Yeah, they've been.
If they win. Again, we've seen some
I
incredible
mean, think
comebacks
about
so far. I'm not
everything
trying
that's
to friend
happened
this
for
out.
FaZe throughout this stage. Dicey's become a star again after months of kind of being out of competition.
Deploying drone.
Now, Baby Bay still Baby Bay. You know, they're able to settle into some new comps. Your supporting cast shows up in playoffs with Superman and Poise having some big games. You know, they bring Flya back off the bench to get him in that initiator role. They've done wonders with that. I feel like it's really fueled some of their attacks, having that extra initiation power. Also good for a big map here or there in his own right. They're starting to get their pistol rounds together. Their retakes are still strong as hell. I mean, they really are starting to finally turn away from like this dark horse upset team with a lot of firepower to a team that can actually contend regularly.
And now you've got this moment in this round in particular, by the way. FaZe is killing noise, creating doubt, throwing a bit of a fake out.
30 seconds left.
And now re-wrapping back over to Tree. Poise is going to sit here to make sure Som stays trapped, but this fight towards Tree is everything. Ethan tries a delay. Flash comes through, wants to peek to the Nebula, but Superman denies. Hayes looking to tap away at some toes. Gets one, but now Dicey comes through the middle of the map, gets the double. Time becoming a problem. Hayes for the 1v3 just needs to use the clock as his biggest ally. Poise will fall, and nothing more. Dicey quick to follow up, and FaZe get the 9.
I like how quick FaZe went to recognize they had to still push it. There was no chance of getting back to B. And so while the clock got tense, Dicey does enough in back calls to open up the heaven push. And they know that they can just swing on Hayes with numbers, and there's no real way for Hayes to escape. And if he does escape, that means sight is yours, and you can still fit the plan in before time expires. That is really good rapid decision-making with the clock against you and still finding a way to work through that stress and win the round. Really well done there from FaZe. Even when things got a little out of hand, still able to come out on top.
Early play for FaZe out of B.
Look at that.
That will
Haunt
push.
on one side, Owl Drone on the other. No chance of energy to get early space, bro.
Nope. That's what I was about to say. That's a different timing, a different look that we've seen so far from FaZe as far as how they want to use that early utility to contest space.
I would love to know how much this was game planned and how much of this is like kind of just feeling it on the fly, because this looks so good.
The retake coming out for NRG, that works out nicely. Slow orb allowing a chance for Tex to move in, isolate Poise. Good first blood, considering that this is going to feel like a must-win Thrifty in certain regards, especially now that you're up 5-4.
Yeah, barrier orb comes up and will fortify. FaZe unable to really break it. Now they'll start doing so. Maybe they're looking to swing off the back of that, but Som able to tuck in behind. Sackhouse has been spotted. That knife will read Som on sights. Do they know about logs?
Oh, and Dicey's lurk.
They don't know about logs.
And Dicey's lurk. Not yet, at least. There's the flash.
You want to play? Let's
Still focused
play.
on the long rate. The thing about this is because of that pick from Dicey, it just opens up a free rotation.
way.
And the tour is there
30
to
seconds
stop
left.
any rotation on the opposite side. Ethan once again by himself. This time the flash much more successful. The stinger
Down A.
able to step up for a double. The spike now down. Time becoming a bit of an issue on the opposite side. All of a sudden, the tables have slightly turned, but Ethan needs to get a different weapon, if I'm being completely honest. The problem is he doesn't feel confident to
10
move forward,
seconds left.
just wants to play gatekeeper of Tree Door. It's going to have to be Dicey. Here's the 1v1. He's able to take it, no problem. Avoids Baby Bay. A couple of shots come in. Time. It's all down to the clock. And that's going to be enough for Ethan to
I was a
extend
little-
just long enough.
I was a little scared when he took that first fight against Baby Bay instead of tucking into Generator the win off the timer, but it looks like right after he sprayed, he got the read he could just stay alive and win, and he was able to get it done. I have to give mad props to Ethan. Look at how he used his flashes at Tree to get these frags. Great kill there, great follow-up. Then look at the immediate response. He knows Heaven's a threat, he fragments it, nice it, gets the read on Dicey's position, and then battles his way into a 1v1. He played that as smart as he possibly could, except for maybe that final peak, but it wound up not mattering, and he wins it. That's a big, big round for Ethan.
Throw, not even a shoulder. Throw an elbow. Nightfall comes out early. Very good from Hayes, though the paranoia is going to connect on just about everything. Oh, and then you've got the knife behind this. No utility from FaZe can come in, so yeah, you get first blood, but you're stuck. You're absolutely stuck at this point of ingress. Ethan, all of a sudden, off the recovery, is going to fragment to recreate space, and FaZe will just get the first blood and sustain through the initial engagement with that 5v4.
Cosmic Divide, though, is that added layer to still re-hit this A side, even with the other utility now burnt. Som, though, catching Baby Bay. So that's going to slow this thing down, but he's able to get res there by Poise. Again, Cosmic Divide still blocking Heaven, so still not really a way for Energy to stop that res on the KO from happening. a recon under heaven and now know that it's clear so that Superman can take it through this Cosmic Divide. And this plant will go down. They have main advantage on the post plant.
The Cosmic Divide falls. Ethan, he earns full command off of this. Oh, but he can't stay alive long enough to proc it. So FaZe fighting back after the 2 comes out of Ethan. 1v1 over towards Tree. Goes the way of NRG in the retake. Poised able to follow up off the immediate trade. EU for a 1v2 of his own. It's Poised on the corner. Who's going to peek first? Poised is playing off the time, though. And EU's going to force him to have to make a peek. Does he get to halfway? Sure does. Doesn't hold it longer than that, but the 1v1 comes through nonetheless. And Poised takes it through 11. It's FaZe indomitably up 10-1.
Dude, Poised has just come online, dude, throughout these playoffs. The newest addition to the team, coming in as the IGL, struggling individually at first, but this man's been fragging with the best of the team throughout these last few best of 3s they've played in the lower bracket. Obviously, Superman's really starting to light up, man. This is big. This is so big for FaZe to get form out of this supporting cast around the stars that they already have in Dicey and Baby Bay. If they can keep that up, and now we're starting to see them kind of push strategy a little bit deeper, they are going to be a force to be reckoned with for some time.
Oh, the Hunter's Fury making things interesting here for NRG's defense, but they get first blood and get out. Mostly thanks to the fact that Tex hits the opening shot and creates a slow field that's going to feel like you're stuck in molasses on a hot day. Not that I have much experience with that, but...
I do have experience with the heat. It's like 110 heat index over here, Fahrenheit, so... But the molasses part, not so much.
Yeah. And Hazed? He's in a very vulnerable position, and FaZe is moving quietly, but they do not expect him to be here. Why would you? Paranoia comes out, trying to get him out. No, not going to quite be able to get the Shrouded Step through. But doesn't matter. Other side of the map, Tex makes safe the B site. Nightfall comes through as a just-in-case policy. And FaZe are stuck in a 2v4, trying to work over towards A. It's coming right to E's direction.
I need a blocking vision.
Yeah, all drone's gonna come in here. Suppressed though is Superman.
What a read.
Yeah, they have this thing well covered. They know that this has to pretty much be a commitment. They can't really fall back.
Last player standing.
As he will find Fly, so now it's all on Superman. He might be able to backstab Heaven, and oh, he gets both!
Oh, no way. There's not again. Not another 1v4 for Supa. Time is a huge problem, but he does have Spike. He could get there, but doesn't quite check the left in EU. The sole defender initially of the A zone will get 2 on the board for NRG. It's been a series full of major comeback attempts. We'll see if NRG can keep that storyline running when we come back after the halftime break. Do not turn any of your attention away yet. 10-2 the current count after the first half, but it's been a dramatic series in the second half of each of our 2 maps that we've had so far. Expectations should be nothing but the same, you would assume, here for a set. It's kind of hard just looking at the statistics. So overall, to frame up a position where it's does FaZe really drop this after being up 10-2 on their stronger statistical side here? It's tough to really figure that.
Tough to really figure, but I mean, it all comes down to this half now. We're 3 maps deep, or 2.5 at least. Winner moves on to play Exet tomorrow for a chance to go to Copenhagen. Loser will have to wait for LCQ at best, or perhaps even longer, depending on how that all shakes down in the end. And so it's all on this really double wine play from FaZe. They expect a second, not a chance. Not a chance.
They get the knife. They get the knife.
Ah, okay.
So there is at least a trade. Dicey, though, still holds his life backside of the site, and you feel like he could be good for anything, and how about a second? Turns this to a 3v3. Spike initially going to be down, but it will be repositioned as FaZe already cracked through the barrier orb and have retaken Tree. This is a key lockdown spot, knowing that you're going to have maybe 1 player deep, but you've got full clearance of mid. You can just focus on what's on the site here if you're FaZe.
Yeah, they've done well to clear out a lot of real estate fast to give them a lot of time to still work this retake out right now. Prowler going to come in. Doesn't get too much of a read, but it gives them a little bit of space to come out door. Fragment to let them focus on sight, but Ethan is coming up big.
Oh, the response, though, Poised.
Not playing it for him.
This will be a 1v2. Ethan coming quickly. Oh, Poised hops off, and you thought for maybe a second that was going to be the right, it was the right call, but yeah.
I mean, Ethan had the swing. He had no choice. It wasn't planted for him, and I think that obviously Poised kind of had the idea that that was going to have to be the case and came off the fight, but Just 15 HP shy. Again, this would have been a great play, but the knife breaks it apart.
Enemy remaining.
Gets the intel. And then just, I mean, so close on that one. But Ethan with the big hat trick.
NRG's been really good in their pistols today, honestly.
Yeah. 5 for 6.
Yeah. Oh, and how about that first blood? Marshall in hand takes down Dice. That'll open up some space in the middle of the map. I say that with hesitation because Flya is still in position to re-grab the Marshall and lock down the middle of the map. But FaZe are opting to kind of play pretty far forward point of contact. And as the Prowler misses out, Superman could actually pull off a shorty play here.
Certainly possible. They're kind of playing back wall, though, so they might be just out of range. But, oh, as soon as I say that, he comes forward. That's spike detected
Oh
as
my.
well.
He gets the
and he
reload.
gets away for more damage.
Player
But it's not going to work out for too much beyond just the initial chunk of damage. FaZe able to clean up the play through tree and the defensive retake, a really defensive contest. So now it's just down to Flya. It's musket warfare for him with the Marshall 1v4. Some up close. And help out EU for some team shots, and NRG as expected cleanly take the follow-up round to the first.
And it can wipe the sweat off the brow because it certainly got a little tense when that shorty popped off for a frag and a spike detection. Especially when he gets away for a reload, you're like, oh man, this could get dangerous. But they were very quick to respond. And what a comeback this would be for NRG. I mean, again, this has been a series full of comebacks or fake comebacks or whatever you want to call it. It's been a wild ride of one-sided first halves that still got close in the end. But this would be the biggest of all, considering how dominant FaZe were in that first half. But now it's equal footing as far as firepower goes. Good haunt comes out. Here comes a quick attack from NRG, much faster than you'd expect.
Gravity well, so good though. Slow orb to stop only does so much though. And now Flya with so much information at his own hands, able to turn that into a solid initial hold, but the fight back is good. The resurrection had been earned thanks to Sam picking up the orb just a moment ago. And that all of a sudden turns things into an even 3v3. Dicey, the only benefactor of many kills, tries for some spam shots, and yeah, they sure were. But now it's down to how do you get in for the retake. Barrier orb will block off one. EU will cross, but it's been seen. And now the dissection of the site. How do you work this? There's no more utility defensively really to work your way back in. It's just going to have to be by way of weaponry. And now they go. Baby for the opener, traded back. EU still playing backside arches. No need to peek. Not going to.
One enemy remaining.
Dicey with the help. Oh boy, pistol in hand. Oh my goodness.
FaZe and retakes, name a more iconic duo in North American Valorant for Stage 2 because they've been leading in that category. A little bit of a misstep, maybe some of their earlier playoff matches, but it's back in full force this series against NRG. And as you said, that time with little utility involved, just pure firepower, timing, and trust in one another to come in together and be efficient in the duels. Dicey's so big this round to keep him afloat.
Unreal.
Obviously, some good initial holding inside the site early to give him a chance. At least keep the numbers somewhat close. As it's 11-4. Map in series point on the horizon for FaZe. That's why NRG had to think this one through accordingly on what they want to spend and what they want to throw out there. Because you have to imagine, you know, you buy up all you can here. You can't give FaZe free series point, not this far behind.
Yeah.
But what happens if you drop it? What are you going to have left to work with?
Not much. I mean, again, like you obviously have some sort of a playbook built up for what you would want to do on offense if Ascent was to be played, but I just think that playbook was not in anticipation of this level of gameplay from FaZe.
And here's
when it comes
the thing.
to utility breakdown.
The other thing I have to point out, dude, think about how NRG has kind of played the attacking side of the bulk of these playoffs. You know, the product of their boot camp was developing this fine-tuned default where you kind of feel out the map early and then you kind of build from it. It's the foundation you launch from. You know, you play the map control style. You come together for the mid to late round executes. You condition your opponents, and you bring in some pacing changes later. You know, that's the evolution of an attacking half. You ain't got time for none of that. You're so far behind, you kind of have to throw some haymakers early to make FaZe rattled. Like, you can't just, you know, think that you're going to play slow to start and then, you know, bring in the faster paced plays later. You might not get there.
Yeah. It really, the long and short of it is, whatever the call is right here, it has to work right now. You have to put FaZe into a dire position where they feel like they need to reconsider stuff.
All that haunt.
All the information off the haunt. Boy's able to help himself out by creating a little bit of extra space, but NRG still forced their way in. Nathan for a double. That'll get the spike on for a plant.
Yeah, they will get this, that's for sure. There's also still this late lurk up middle through Tex. He will indeed get Dicey in the back. They had no clue, and that should be a comfortable round now for NRG. If you're Baby Bay and Superman, you might just, I mean, considering how far off Superman is, you're just saving weapons at this point.
Yep.
Here.
Op will get saved at least, so I mean, that's a big tool to have. But that's a big round win for NRG, and they do so confidently, just losing one member along the way. I thought they might be in some trouble when the Haunt came out and they all got red, but Poise tried to play kind of a risky position behind the smoke when the stairs got caught, and that just gave a free opening for NRG.
And again, it's for NRG when it comes to putting together something that's going to require a very premeditated response from FaZe. I love the fact that we're just throwing all of our utility and forcing FaZe to have to deal with it in bulk.
Mm-hmm.
So as good as the Haunt is, it's still, you have to imagine that the play call from NRG is, it doesn't matter if we get red, we're forcing this, and we're going to throw everything we have at this front door entrance.
Mm-hmm. Obviously great to be able to get the ult built here for Ethan. Great entry as well. And yeah, Poise, I just think tucking into market might have been the play there. They don't want to leave the site stranded, but this seemed like it was just like a free second frag for NRG where he was just so blind and was in no man's land. No sanctuary to hide behind. But FaZe do have rounds to burn, so it won't really harm them too much.
And how about this, Dust?
Yep, go ahead.
Op, tour de force, double snipe setup for FaZe here. Do you expect that this op is coming out of your NRG, plus the hero rifle? This is still
you know
a very...
one got saved, so
yeah,
I would think you should have an idea, yes. And it probably does change up the pacing a little bit, and it also forces them to spin utility a little bit earlier to make sure they can, you know, take that angle initially. Let's be real. We know Baby Bay ain't no stranger to a sniper.
That's facts.
It's one of the best jet operators we had in A for quite a long time.
Well, NRG are taking their time with this. Kind of setting up a different tone and pace, kind of what we were alluding to. Probably will connect onto Ethan. Follow-up of the knife to come out. That will push NRG back. They don't really give away too much information, though, outside of just Ethan.
Yeah, if you're FaZe, a Prowler reading one player doesn't tell you too much at this stage of the round. When you kind of imagine that they're going to be playing a bit spread. Now you're starting to feel some utility over towards B lobby. Smoke comes up as an immediate response. Flya playing for market. Here's the spam. A lot of utility coming in, so Flya will get the read that this is indeed a push. And that's a great set of utility to get Flya a free frag. And he's pushing for more. Don't know that he needed to do that, but he's trying to support Dicey.
Dicey! 3 on the site! Not gonna get the forces. EU gets a double and a triple. How about the 4 quadra? Are you kidding me? This series just has no limit. There is no encore to this fireworks show.
How does the momentum of that round shift so rapidly? It starts off with Flya getting the initial frag, getting the read. Dicey, perfection on watching that boost that Sam's so well known for when he plays the stage. Gets 3, but then EU just retorts immediately with a quad kill of his own to win the round for NRG. I mean, you just can't ever plan for that. That's wild he gets that. You think that's series point done and dusted when that 100% third frag comes on the board for Dicey. Holy cow.
Telling you, man. 10-2 half, I don't care.
Yeah, dude.
These second halves have been unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, the fireworks are flying, that's for sure. EU lining up here, a Haunt, try to get some information over here towards B side, it seems like. Over in the market area.
Flya's
trying to get a read on the sniper, you think?
Yeah. Well, Aldrin's going to be forced out. Flya reading there's at least one player there. I don't think he sees much more than this is the first, though. Barrier Orb comes out. Nightfall through the middle. That's going to force Dicey out of sight. Hunter's Fury defensively now to try to retort. And this will actually deal a pretty considerable amount of stall through mid, not only through market, but that actually stops the play through the point of ingress on main as well. Baby Bay pushed off the angle, though, can do nothing besides throw knives at the problem. And they will lose poised as entries gained by NRG.
Yeah, it's going to be a 4-on-5 retake here in the end for FaZe, and Hayes still has this mid lurk. Now, it seems like Fly is aware it's possible. He's trying to be cautious about it, does slide out, but FaZe catches the frag nonetheless, and now it's a 5-on-3 for NRG.
Well, Baby Bay's going quick, though. He's trying to take away this angle, but it's not going to work out. He wanted to try to catch a trade.
Oh, boy.
Not going to happen.
We got another game on our hands?
We absolutely do. I'm telling you, dude.
My goodness.
It could have been a
No
12-0
lead is
first
safe
start.
out here.
None. What a battle. And so now going back to what we talked about a couple of rounds ago, NRG has the ability to try to chase down these weapons. Do you come off this round as FaZe and immediately have to call a timeout here? Just due to the fact that you've all of a sudden not had a response to these initiations from NRG?
I mean, their NRG are hitting with a pace that they usually don't use until later stages of the half, but they've been forced to be a bit more creative because they know they don't have that cushion to work with to settle into the half. They have to come out swinging right out the gates. And so I wonder if a bit of it is just FaZe not ready for that pace, not expecting them to be this explosive. You know, I also just think that maybe they were, you know, looking to play certain types of retakes that just aren't coming together right now because they're losing too many resources before they can even really set up the retakes. Some of these mid lurks from NRG late have been big on kind of blocking that off as a route to set up a retake through market. And so, yeah, if you're FaZe, I'm not sure what the true adjustment really is. Maybe just try to put a little bit more pressure early on the periphery of the map, which FaZe is usually very strong at. But honestly, NRG's counter utility at A lobby has made that very hard to do.
Agreed. And
maybe aggression B lobby could be a play, like get a forward angle there. I don't know.
The other thing to kind of keep in mind, this is the second round in a row where FaZe have gone into this broken buy situation. Like they need to get their finances in order.
Yeah. They did save a little bit last round. They were trying to buy around.
Now this round looking pretty comfortable so far for NRG, save Flya's initial entry. Let's get an operator to play with. Trails will decipher that there are two players nearby. So we've been looking to take away space, but you have to worry about the player inside of Hell. And oh boy, Super more? No. Nothing besides the first. And Baby Bay cannot do anything against Ethan. Flya is already out saying, all right, let's get these finances straight. Operator's going to get saved. Let's get a full buy going here in round 20.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen NRG spend a lot of time plugging up A lobby with utility early to deny any access to wine or like an aggressive peek off a one-way or anything along those lines that you would normally see perhaps at A lobby defensively. They've also done really well at like these late mid plays and not really giving that space either. I do wonder if FaZe can look to try to play a forward angle with Dicey in B lobby and then rendezvous out. The issue with that is that NRG's also done a pretty good job with initiation utility there as well to get the reads. And so, you know, when you have a haunt and then a knife that can be spent on opposite sides of the map to get early intel, it's hard for FaZe to play their like forward style of defense and like be aggressive. Now you could just look for the mid peak. I mean, I don't know if you want to swing in a situation where you're just trying to peek to B link push into middle, or if you want to try to clear top mid, but we haven't really seen NRG play a lot of top mid.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's another way that you could try to get Dicey Sniper involved early, is just maybe take a gut check look at B link off a rendezvous support to try to get away from the lobby areas that are getting crushed by initiation utility. You know, that might be something that FaZe can consider in this timeout, as they have saved the sniper. But outside of that, you're running out of breathing room now. They're right on your heels.
Yeah. And I think the thing, again, kind of talking back to NRG, where they took their time out and we said, hey, whatever you come up with, it has to be successful. The same thing is going to be told here about FaZe. And I think it's going to be one of two things. Either you try to set yourself up, like you're mentioning, of getting aggressive and getting, if the game plan is, okay, we have to get Dicey an opening pick, or we play reserved, which had cut off the choke points, and I think you're astonished.
No, it's going to be the Odin spam, I think, to get Dicey Sniper in position.
Yeah.
I think that's the combo they're looking for. They're trying to give him space to get forward with this, or at least feel comfortable holding the angle for longer.
Standing ahead.
Well,
It's worked.
Yep.
But how far can he get?
That's the question, because Tex is watching this. He knows. Both players.
Oh, they both read
shots.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both.
All right.
Ooh, it's a
We
razor's
see
edge
you.
here, boys. Like, who wants to step first? Superman's keeping checks on A lobby as well. This is the first time FaZe has been able to get this much space. And now look at that. Tex is forced off.
Trying to bait the gravity well. Fragment comes out first and foremost. Supa with the check costs him a significant portion of his life. Now the ability to peek over towards main is pretty much out the window. And you've got threats starting to be established over towards tree. This double duelist play that you kind of have over towards B is still stuck. This is a FaZe in a 3v5. Can they possibly hold the A zone to get to map point? Opening trade comes through. Poised up top, not going to find anything as Tex gets the double. Superman from inside could only do so much. And now it's on to how do you get this retake going with an Odin and an Operator?
Oh, that shock dart and Odin spam almost comboed up perfectly on the Sam, but he does get away. And now he's under, but immediately spammed in the dome from Flya. So now a 2-on-2 retake attempt for FaZe. How often these retakes have gone their way. How often they've relied on this as a strength. Can it happen yet again?
Tex is going to fall. That's Tex is going to fall. It's down to EU. He's on the backside of the site. He could get spammed out or be hard scoped. A difficult decision to be made for EU. Has one haunt left. Will bend that around the corner, but the reel comes out. Throwing shoulders. Gets the first. Steps off the second. 3 shots remaining. Doesn't get it to half. Tries to get the shoulder. Flyer running out of time, but he still holds for the kill. And he's got it.
Oh my goodness, what a way to end it there. Flya has to do it himself. Dicey goes down, and he didn't get it halved on the first attempt because of how quickly Dicey got pushed off. But he holds his nerve, gets it to half on the second attempt, and then bang.
Yeah. Just stone cold from Flya. And almost a chance for NRG to keep themselves within it. And now it's do or die. 4 rounds in a row is what's required for NRG to send this to an overtime. Early utility from FaZe, going to control A, at least as far as the anticipations would be concerned. NRG are going to have to play retake over towards A main here if they want to keep threatening this.
This time they're able to get through it, Prowler, able to get Orb. They clear out one, so they get A lobby pretty early here on the energy side of things. Something they didn't get the previous round. They're looking to press that issue quickly with this utility over towards Shree, and they are going to get by, but Boys hold the angle.
BabyBay finds nothing off the initial spam. Poised with this delayed check. Goes 1 for 1. BabyBay following up, only gets the pinstripe kill feed to go back and forth. Super for the double. Turns numbers in favor of FaZe, but there is a res, and Sam's able to use that as a way to shut the door, but it doesn't matter. The Odin just a little too strong. Door broken down. Sam to keep NRG alive. Where has Dicey gone? You obviously know where Fly is. He's making that very clear. Oh, and he takes the aggressive check. He's got heaven. This could work out great for Sam. Expects there to be a double peek down low. The first one cleaned up nicely. Dicey not playing for the initial peek. Sam looks to challenge by going up top, but it does not matter. Dicey with the quick scope, and it's FaZe who advanced to the lower finals. Still a chance at Masters.
Oh my goodness, what a smack in the face it must have been for that res to get immediately wiped away. And then Dicey, that must have been quite the shot from his perspective to read the jump on top of Generator and hit it immediately. What a series this was, man. So many one-sided first halves, so many thoughts that this might be done quick, or at least each map would wither away in just a few moments. But instead, each team persisted to push it to the brink. But it was FaZe in the end who got the final call. Wow.
You go back to that guy in the middle, little interview that we had at the beginning of the series like 15 hours ago, and he's like, everyone said we weren't supposed to be here. And for them to win their opening map in very much so FaZe characterized style, run it down the gut, overwhelmed by sheer speed and numbers, and then to completely give us a full-on 360, 180, 720 change up here and just completely outwit NRG with just great utility synergy dust. I mean, they're looking like a major threat to exit tomorrow all of a sudden.
Yeah, they're looking like more than a one-trick pony that relies on Dicey, maybe they be stars. They're getting great supporting casts. They're getting better, more complex utility usage. We're starting to see them kind of evolve, but still keep that aggressive identity. And it's been awesome to watch it, man.
What a run it's been for NRG. Condolences to them, and for FaZe, the look now heads towards tomorrow. We'll send things to a break, and the desk will be there to give you the full recap and maybe little teaser what we expect for tomorrow's matchup versus XSET. We'll be back after the break.
Welcome back, everyone. It is late here. We're in the East Coast, but this is VCT Challengers. And look, FaZe, you know, they had a grueling matchup there against NRG, but they're going to walk away and keep the drive alive for Masters with a 2-0 win against NRG. But let's talk about the match, though. You know, Valen, obviously, I think that there were a lot of great points to kind of like, you know, take away from how FaZe were playing this. I think that there were some brilliant moments for NRG, some brilliant moments for FaZe, but, you know, FaZe were able to find that slight upper hand a few times.
Yeah, I mean, like we saw in map 2, NRG came out very strong, like starting with the 7 or 8-0 lead.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the opposite this time. FaZe actually went up 9-0, getting a lot of first kills and just completely taking over the game.
What a weird series.
Yeah, and I just want to shout out to Poised, because not only did he play great as a support player, but his mid-rounding in that game was perfect. They knew how to switch up the pace. We saw a lot of fast pops with the fade ult and the KO ult, but they knew how to slow it down when they needed to. It was honestly a clinic from them.
Yeah. And the retakes were excellent in the first half, but the takes on their attacking side were impeccable. It was what I wanted to see out of the earlier team that was running in towards that triple initiator setup. It's timing the utility together. We have a fade on, we have a flash combined with it. And while it's a new role for Baby Bay, I think he was doing well at finding those flashes. It's showing that FaZe, again, can give us different looks, that they're not reliant on just running the neon every single map. They have different ideas, they have these change-ups, and it works really well for them with the comp switch.
Yeah.
It was clear that NRG was not expecting that.
Yeah, now I know you did have a play that you wanted to break down, Valen, because there was, you know, again, like FaZe were really good with their ult usage. Like, it just felt like everyone was clicking when they needed to. Here's the play.
Yeah, so it was round 6. This is a fast B split coming from FaZe. And first they used the Fade Prowler to go up mid. They fake smoke and flash close to clear close fully. Fake smoke mid 2 to make sure there's no op posted. Boom, the fade out comes out. They know market and spawn's clear. They pull out the Astro Wall to block off spawn. And what's next? Oh, site is open and boat is open. So they used the Sova ult to actually zone. They weren't using the Sova ult for kills. He didn't throw a dart. He's using it purely for information. So FaZe knows how to scale out what's open, what's not open. And this is a really beautiful execute.
Yeah, and you even see them seize over towards spawn there. A lot of teams will throw the molly down in this composition, so they don't have the raise. They don't really have as many mollies to combo with that, but they can just seize, hold space behind the Astro Wall, push deep in towards site, and win things on out. It was great when they had the ult. It also was pretty good when they did not. The Fade Prowlers, I think, got a lot of value in the early round. FaZe, this was a much slower game than we normally expect from them, and a big part of that was taking that early control, taking that early space over towards the extremities. The Fade was excellent in that regard. I think, again, they got great value out of the KO and the combination, and Dicey, again, just proving his consistency. This team can build comps around Baby Bay. They can build comps around Dicey. Again, the layers to FaZe are continuing to build as we get deeper into the playoffs.
Yeah, very true, very true. And this is the time that needs to happen, because they're going to be facing off against XSET tomorrow. So this team is going to have to show us some layers like an onion. But like an onion, this game had tons of layers, and sometimes, you know, it was a little smelly. Sometimes it made you tear up a little bit, because we'll take a look at our Prime Gaming highlights. That's called a professional transition. Won an award for the darn thing. Anyway, but yeah, you know, Mimi, you know, the Prime Gaming highlights here, I think just illustrate how this series played out, right? It's very clear. It was like huge swings back and forth like a pendulum.
It was just fake comeback upon fake comeback. We come in towards FaZe, in towards Icebox, and I thought that FaZe had a really great idea of how to play on this map. I liked that the composition that they brought on out on the defensive side. They were fighting those flanks. They were pushing space. They were not letting NRG play their own game. That's so good out of FaZe Clan, and they're doing it even when they don't have the neon in the mix. But for NRG, so many of these big moments, Tech stepping up, clutch after clutch to make that map almost winnable. Then we get on to Haven.
Yeah, I mean, NRG was coming out pretty slow on all the maps. I think if they could have came out a little faster, they could have took the series, but it always felt like they were playing catch-up with FaZe. FaZe was always taking the initiative, you know, taking fast space, taking early engagements, but, you know, I felt like NRG kind of gave it to them. Besides, on the second map where they actually came out swinging, I felt besides that, they were kind of on the back foot the whole time.
They needed to have that momentum the entire time, especially against FaZe, because they like to play in your face. They like to abuse the space that they take away from you, and Mimi was very clear that NRG, they conceded that space more often than not.
Yeah, they really did. I think this comp in the final game, well, they found success with it before. I think it lost out on a certain something. FaZe was always getting that early control over towards main on both sides. They didn't have a lot of utility to shut that down. Obviously, it's tough to prep against a team that is pulling out something completely new. We talked about that earlier with Optic, but yeah, tough one for NRG. Still, don't get me wrong, this team had an insane run in the playoffs. They bombed out really early in the group stages, 1-4, not even making playoff stage 1. They rallied back, same run roster here in Stage 2, or just one change coming on in, make an incredible run here, top 4 in NA. That's a big achievement for NRG.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. They have a lot to be proud of. Obviously, they're not going to be making it to Masters, but there will be opportunities for them in the future. And I think if this team...
They've got LCQ.
Yeah, and exactly. And I think if this team really sticks together and pushes through, I actually do think that they have a pretty darn good shot. But one team that still has a shot is going to be FaZe, and I'm joined, I'm actually pleased, and I'll catch you guys in a moment, to be joined by a good friend of mine, someone who I love talking to, and I personally requested. It's my boy, Baby Bay from FaZe, coming in hot for the Verizon post-match interview. Baby Bay, do you hear me, buddy?
What's good? What's good, brother?
What's up, baby? How you doing?
Clear.
Congratulations on the win, of course. Good to see you. You know, it's ridiculous. We live in the same area, but I barely get to see you.
Well, I'm in Dallas right now.
Oh, you're okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But all right, man. Let's talk about the series. I think it was an interview that you had given where you said like a lot of people weren't really expecting you guys to make it this far, so you just feel like you're playing with house money at this point. Does it still feel like that, or do you feel like you have that chance, like you could be X-set, punch your ticket to Copenhagen?
No, I mean it's definitely the same energy, same vibe. I mean, I literally told my whole team right before that third map. I was like, listen, man, like, because like I feel like that second map we were like a little like I wouldn't say nervous or anything, but like a little too antsy in the gameplay, and you could tell, we were kind of trying to like force things, and we weren't playing how we normally practice. So I was like, listen, it is what it is. You know what I mean? We got this far. Nobody expected us to do it, so let's just go out there and play like it's scrims. Because at the end of the day, like I think, for only being a team for like 1 month with Flya, like I think we have shown an amazing run so far, and we're not gonna stop right now. We're gonna keep playing like this and having no pressure, because we don't have any pressure, man, really.
Yeah, I know, and I think that has been your advantage for sure throughout this whole run that you've managed to put together. Did want to talk about the last game, because you busted out the KO, and that threw us off guard. We were physically and visually uncomfortable, bro. We weren't expecting the KO. Is this the evolution of Baby Bay? You're gonna bust out some more agents and throw us off here?
I mean, people think I'm like a one trick or something, man. They don't realize it. When you're good at the game, you're good at the game. When you have that intuition, like you could play any character. You know what I mean? I come from Overwatch. I had to learn multiple agents, multiple heroes. Granted, most of them are DPS, but I've done it all. You know what I mean? Like I can play anything, and it was actually my idea. I wanted to run this comp like 3 weeks ago, before even Optic started doing it. We didn't copy Optic this time. Okay, we did it with this time. I know they played it before us in official, but we didn't copy you guys this time. We actually copied DRX. They're the first ones I saw run this comp, and I was really intrigued by it. I was like, you know what? For some reason in ranked, I only play KO on Ascent when my main duelist gets filled. So I was like, we could actually do this. I was like, trust me, I know all the lineups. I actually know all the lineups from playing ranked KO, trolling on my stream. I promise you, it's so funny. It's so
that's the solution. Play ranked, and then play a different agent, and then profit from there. Well, I did ask you this earlier, but I did want to get your thoughts on the X-set match tomorrow. They're a very structured team, a squad with tons of discipline, tons of talent, and you're going to be at times hitting up against a brick wall. What is the strategy for you guys? Are you guys still going to commit to that game plan of the very fast commits, the pushes, the way that you guys play to just get aggressive and really take the space away from your opponent? Do you feel like you're just going to stick to the game plan?
Well, I'm not gonna leak too much of how we're gonna prep for them, but I mean, just expect a lot of duels, because they're a very duely team right now too. They love to fight. Zekin and Cryo are no joke, man. They're really good players.
Yeah.
They're definitely the heavy hitters. You know what I mean? Of that team. So it's gonna be a brawl. I mean, every FaZe game is a brawl. It seems like we just can't seem to just get an easy dub. You know what I mean? we make it look like we're gonna get the easy dub, and then it goes the distance. So I can't even imagine being a fan. Like, thank you guys. You guys must just be aging like years watching us play.
I have a lot of gray hairs, bro.
It's
all because of you.
Fun. All because of you. Fun. I can't lie. I love it.
All right, baby. I'm gonna let you go from here, brother. It's a pleasure to talk to you, man.
Much,
I'll catch you around the hood soon enough, I'm sure.
Thank you so much. Later.
Later, buddy. All right, let's bring back our analyst here. I love that guy. I've known him for so long. Actually, funny thing is, we bonded initially over Halo. Of all the games, we were working the Overwatch League, and we were bonding over Halo. Just this guy, man, freaking love him. And I'm happy for them. I'm happy that they're moving on in this competition. I know, Valen, you might be happy for them as well because it kind of works in your favor.
Maybe. I want to see them at Copenhagen. I'm not gonna lie, but anyways, I'm happy for them. I like all the players on that team. They've been striving for this for a very long time, and for them to actually come this far, it's awesome for them, and I hope they can make it through.
Yeah, and I love that they're so willing to try new things. I think it really hit with me. I think a lot of the time we kind of get in this discourse where it's like, this person is this character and they play that really well, but a good player is a flexible player. That's what you require in Valorant. You have to be constantly moving, and FaZe has proven that. Baby in particular has stayed relevant since the very beginning of this game, and I imagine he's going to continue to do so. Very exciting team. I think they have a great chance against XSET.
Yeah, again, in order to be successful in Valorant, you have to be flexible. You can't be a one trick. You have to do what you can to win the game by any means necessary. And that's the reason why you're going to see players like Baby take those risks and, in this case, succeed. But let's move on to our Aim Lab flick of the day, because we were hotly debating this one. I wanted it to be the Tex Deagle shot, but someone wanted it to be something else, and for good reason. It's
4 is better than 2. It's just bigger number, better flick. This one was coming out of Superman in that Ascent game. Really insane 1v4 that he managed to win on out. Supa throughout this series was having a standout performance. I was really loving the way he was playing on that Astra. I think it was super beneficial for FaZe, particularly in this Ascent comp. And I mean, the 1v4 is just beautiful. NRG just kind of giving him some of these fights. They try and double swing on in, but Supa just gets the better of him.
I didn't realize it was an ace as well. Yeah. He got the kill in the
I think you were talking about something else. I just start screaming in the green room when I see it come out.
Yeah, no, Vivi was getting loud in there after this. I was like, what just happened? Oh my God. But no, this was a huge play and incredible to watch, honestly. That was insane. 1v4 ace, like.
Yeah, and we did highlight Superman, we wanted to see him be one of those players, a supporting cast, if you will, stepping up. And, I remember casting him when he was in, I believe it was Dignitas.
That's an ancient history.
Well, yeah, and I remember seeing him do his thing and thinking to myself, man, this guy, the talent, it's wild. What a crazy name.
Yeah.
So, it's nice to see him still thriving, off of this. And, yeah, man, what a game that was. But, Valen, I want to ask you, buddy, first day on the desk, how did it feel? You have fun?
Ooh, first day on the desk? Yeah, I mean, I think it went pretty smooth. I appreciate everyone for supporting. Like, I saw everyone saying it was cool, so I had a good time. It was a pleasure to talk to you two, and
pleasure.
Excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm pumped for tomorrow. Glad you mentioned that as well. That's a segue, because we have to. I know, right? And as the evening goes on, what time is it right now? It's midnight.
It's
midnight.
So
I think it's time to wrap up the show. It's a new day. Do I get paid overtime, Albert? I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at our playoffs bracket, where we are. Optic Gaming have moved on to our grand finals, but tomorrow it's only going to be one match. It's going to be XSET versus FaZe Clan. Mimi, FaZe is going to have some time to prep. XSET, though, they got to be ready for this wild card.
I've been peddling XSET stocks since the beginning of this group stage. I've had so much faith in this team. I love the choices they have made in the role switches coming in towards this season. They have looked incredible, but FaZe Clan as well. They're kind of the opposite. XSET, it's been this slow burn. We've been waiting for them to finally get to this place. It feels like they're actually at the moment where they can step over the line and be a top 2 team in North America. But for FaZe Clan, they've rocketed out of nowhere. They have really good ideas. They just proved it there against NRG. But it's going to be interesting. BO5, like Baby was saying, I think it's just going to be a fight between these two teams.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm excited to watch that match because I feel like we have two polar opposites of a team. I think XSET, very slow, very methodical, and they take everything really slowly. They'll be up 3 kills, 5v2, and they're sitting. But you see a team like FaZe where they're more contacting areas, looking for a little pick, looking for inches, and then they explode. They go through and they do it together and they do it great. I'm excited to see the clash of the both.
And I think also for whoever ends up going to Copenhagen out of those two teams joining Optic Gaming, it's again looking at how do those styles go internationally? Because I think FaZe's style is very interesting. I think North America is the only region that really latched onto Neon in the way teams like FaZe did in playing them almost everywhere. I think that FaZe's setup is very different than a lot of other teams, they can make some waves. XSET as well. Just those fundamentals, incredibly solid. Some great players on that squad. Would love to see them finally get their chance at LAN. I think it's great for North America either way.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And while we have already determined our first squad, congratulations to Optic Gaming. They are going to be representing North America and going for the back-to-back potentially in Copenhagen at Masters. But one more spot remains. Is it going to be XSET or will it be the very gutsy FaZe Clan? You're just going to have to tune in to find out. That's the only way. Join us tomorrow, same time right here. We can't wait to see you for a banger of a matchup. We'll see you soon.